last time on Conqueror of Avernus, as you all were trudging your way across this hellscape of a surface, you took a quick moment to stop in and visit an old friend, Mad Maggie, got yourselves a nice meal, and picked up a new companion, no less, the wonderful Dagu, who now sits on your ship, keeping guard over it, making Bellamy proud. And he's only about 2 foot tall. I'm going to make that note. We made him sound small when I was giving his description, but there was a request made if he could be tiny, so he's going to be about 2 feet tall. Doesn't really change much about him, but makes him that much more awesome. After that, you returned to Bell at his forge, who gave the players a few options. Well, not really. Having been soundly outsmarted in his description of what he desired, the party brought him a lich's skull. You know, because everyone looked the same to Bell, he didn't have a leg to stand on. He immediately realized this, took said skull, and specifically sent the party after the egg of a sphinx, but not just anyone. Because even though the odds of 2 sphinx appearing in one place at the same time are exceptionally rarer than 2 liches appearing together, he's not going to make the same mistake twice, and has asked you to obtain for him the egg of the sphinx that is causing and creating and magically forging the tornado that rages at the fall of the Hell Riders. And so the party made their way across the barren landscape of Avernus until they found themselves on lands scorched and damaged, damned even here in Avernus. Alec, our druidic friend, was able to quickly surmise that nothing would ever grow on this land anytime soon, and it's been a century since the battle that was fought here. As you moved on, you came across the corpse, in the middle of a small crater, of a pit fiend, Zareth, previous first command to Bell. Of course, we all know how that fight went down and why he's here to begin with, and very close to where you presently stand, not drawn to scale because that would be ridiculous, is the base funnel of the gigantic tornado that spins around a mountain. I will point out, even at your present area where you stand, you can feel the wind whipping hard. Should you fly over about 600 feet, you'll actually hit the top cone of this volcano. Oh my, a tornado, and it would be pretty bad. The winds themselves are brutally strong, tearing the very ground asunder and making it looking surprisingly smooth from where you are, like chiseled sandstone, though you're certain that is merely an optical illusion.
So I did have a couple of questions actually about this.
Certainly.
How big is the tornado?
Big enough to cover a mountain, and that's at the base, and then it grows in size vertically. I'd say approximately 45-degree angle almost. The tornado is massive, cataclysmically so, spinning continually around what appears to be where a mountain would be. However, the tornado itself looks like an inverted mountain set on top of the mountain, so it is quite the sight. And you've got the whole 9-yard effect going hard. Your thunder and brimstone and crackling energy at the top of it. It's a hellscape.
Mostly I'm curious about control weather versus this, because it's about control weather has 5 miles, so it sounds like it's too big for that.
Also, what's the spell level of control weather? Because I'll tell you at a glance.
8th level.
Oh, that's pretty good. Your whiskers would be crackling just looking at this, you know what I mean? Any spellcaster looking upon this would know that it is not a natural storm. So I actually have to look up control weather just to make sure I don't shortchange John on this one, because, that's a cool spell. There's a reason you're high level. I mean, you're level 16, right?
16?
Oh, wait.
I thought we were 15.
My bad.
Yeah.
Still a few levels to go before you hit those mighty level 17, level 9 spells. But as for control leather, let me just see here.
He just said we're levels. Go ahead.
Oh, you just said we're level 16. Yeah. Maybe if you survive this challenge, though, you might be. Ooh,
spoilers.
Dan's
I
nodding
thought that was your.
Oh, sorry?
I
I was just gonna say, I thought that was your sneaky way of telling us that we leveled up.
No. I'm not quite that nice. You need to get a long rest before the level kicks in, or some junk, I don't know.
Okay.
Now, let me just see here. Oh... I wonder, would you technically have a clear view of the sky in Avernus where you're underground? There's one for you, John. That's if a tree falls in the woods sort of question. The easy thing would be to check, can I use control weather in Avernus? And if it said okay, but I don't think it would be a problem, because a clear view of the sky, just because there's Earth above the sky doesn't mean you can't see the sky. Because they do say there's a sunset across the sky in the description of Avernus. It gets weird.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, isn't it technically like a different realm and not like literally below?
Which is why I'm reading through the spell, because there's so many steps here. You can do some funky stuff to the weather, but I don't see anything here that it affects magical weather. But you take control of the weather. So you can affect all the weather around the tornado for 5 miles. Which would be very interesting. A beautiful sunshiny day and then just tornado. Like a straight line. Like you'd be looking at that like, this is some video game messed up glitchy bullcrap. Shouldn't we at least have some cloudy effects? And the Wizard's like, not while I'm here. I don't know what beneficial property that could have, but I don't see that. It doesn't look like a control magical weather. It looks like it's generic weather control. You know, like this is my private island. My name's Roshi. Go away. Unless I don't know. Feel free to do some googling and let me know if you find out anything weird on that spell. 8th level magic though. That's the thing. 8th bloody level. But that's because it's an 8-hour duration. You get to a town and it's been raining for weeks and you're like, they deserve a sunshiny day. Snap your fingers. Because it's 10-minute cast time, you know? Not much to that. So if you find out anything about that being able to go against other magics that are specifically controlling the weather, because that's the weird thing. It doesn't seem to be a spell that has any form of, I'm gonna fight you with this. It's more like a prestidigitation. It's like Ghost Image. That's better. Because I can't talk. Damn it. Prestidigitation. There we go.
There you go, you got there.
I was gonna get it, it's just, I need more coffee.
I love prestidigitation. That is like one of my favorite spells.
Oh, prestidigitation, best.
It's not like it's an easy word to say, though. There's a lot of consonants in that.
Oh yeah, D&D loves those sort of things in their spells. The more syllables, consonants, and extra vowels they toss in there that don't make sense, the higher level the spell. Give me Flululu's magic wind. It's like, what?
Another thing that I really like about like spells and magic is like if you read the components for it, they're pretty funny. So I think it's detect thoughts, right? Detect thoughts. The material components is a copper piece, so a penny for your thoughts.
Oh, nice.
And then minor illusion needs a bit of fleece because you're going to pull the wool over someone's eyes.
The penny for your thoughts, sadly, in Canada. That's going to be a dated joke in 10 years. You got it no more. Still, though, that's awesome. I love the little things. Then you get spells like Fireball. Back guano and sulfur.
Yeah, just makes sense, right?
Yep, I love it.
And it's just things like that just really are great. Sleep, you can use sand because the Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah, you get sleepies in your eyes.
Yeah.
Love
sorry to take us all on a tangent. My apologies.
Oh, we could go on the theory of magic and D&D for a long time. And then there's the other spellcasters we got too. They got the whole round table going on now. But I digress. So then, at this point, as you stare over the body of dead demon, what does the party do? Oh wait, this isn't super serious moment. You're chill at this second.
Am I supposed to just see like gray and then like a red circle?
Maybe the map isn't loading in full for you. You should have full vision. I do have you on the map. Everybody can see the map, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Indeed.
I'll refresh and see if it pops up.
Keep an eye out for any warning boxes that show up when you load in, Courtney.
Oh, yeah, just in case 3D draws out. The easy solution, as we've learned, if it won't pull maps and stuff, because the OpenGL graphics aren't kicking on, and to use Firefox instead of Chrome.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I can see
God.
now.
I did not want to have to do tech support on a Sunday. I'd make John do it. Seriously, I'd be like, John, you got this. And he'd be like, yes, 1 second. Oh.
Sorry, I know nothing about technology. I don't know what you're talking about.
Holding the fingers together, I know nothing. Old school reference right there. So then, with the party steps away from what they have to do as a climb, what appears to be, from the base of that tornado, because you notice as the wind whips and tears down. First off, it's your standard Deus Ex style tornado, so you can't see through it. And secondly, when it comes near to the bottom, like any tornado, it doesn't actually truly touch. You can see a small gap that you could walk under to get to the base of said mountain. I mean, it still whips and tears at the ground at that path, so it'll be dangerous to walk through. But there is a way.
Well,
Flux will just like put some chalk on her hand and be like, "You want me to go up, you guys?"
well, I think we all need to go up.
Oh, and it's quite the climb, like mountain.
I mean, I could dig a tunnel to the base of the mountain so that we can like not get thrown about by the wind until we get there, but I can't burrow through the mountain.
Actually, another question for you, yeah, Alan.
Ew.
Dispel magic.
Ooh.
Do we have to hit the center or like any part of it?
You're a wizard. You can always try to shoot out a dispel magic if you would like. By all means.
I'm just like, I'm just not sure if I have to hit the...
The effect of this magic is one solid big giant effect, but you can feel the overwhelming power. Like I said, it makes your whiskers crackle. I would assume you're a gnome, you have a mustache. If not, it makes your hair crackle. And if you don't
I have a
any
full
hair,
beard.
Perfect, yes.
I have a very thick beard, I'm sure, by this point, because I was wearing the Dwarven belt for a while.
You can see the static electricity in your beard as you look around, just from the force of magical prowess. So it's singular effect, but it is incredibly powerful. That's giving this out. Anyone with magic can tell this. Bellamy can tell this. Dean can tell this. Dean especially, I would say, actually, for Alec, rather, can tell this, because... Let's be honest, you're a druid. You've seen a few tornadoes. You've probably been sitting there in a lawn chair in the woods made of branches like, oh, look at that, it just took a deer. The circle of life. The circle of life.
Yeah. Yeah. I have dispel magic as well. I just assumed a permanent effect like this would be
well, no,
too powerful.
Permanent effects can be dispelled. We'd have to roll high is the thing.
You have to roll like incredibly high. If it's like the magical artifact of anti-yeet or something, because you know I like the word yeet today, and it's a crystal on top of there, you don't even know what's going to happen. Because when you use dispel magic, you choose a creature, an object, or magical effect within range. Anything above 3rd level is where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
You can cast it using higher levels, which makes the difference.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, if you disable a magical effect, but there's an object that reproduces that effect regularly, it's a stopgap solution for maybe 6 seconds. So, I'm not necessarily saying it won't work. What I'm saying is, as John mentioned, can I shoot at the center of that? Because that's a big tornado. And this is me giving you all the answers that you can attempt to stop the effect, but to what end? Well, that's the fun thing to see.
So, okay. All right. Do one of you, like, I don't actually have control weather, but do one of you two have control weather?
I mean, if we want to sleep for 8 hours, I could, but I don't.
Okay.
I think Control Weather is like more like.
It's an 8th level spell. It's a high level spell. Like it's
more like, you know, if you go to the beach and your beach days turned into a typhoon, you can change that.
Well, no. What I was thinking, right, was we're sitting here, like we're not sure we can control weather over the tornado because we're not sure if the magic can cancel out the other magic, right? Because like we're not sure if control weather could affect magical weather. The same would be true for this spell that's on it. So, if we go dispel magic, cancel out the tornado, control weather right as a follow-up, right?
Well, a whirlwind isn't necessarily like the weather biome. It's more like a weather phenomenon.
But but the thing is, like, it is still technically weather as far as D&D's control. Like, it's just wind. We would be able to make it a nice cloudy day or nice sunny day instead.
Yeah, I don't have it prepared.
But you don't have it prepared, so this is all now academic at this point.
I feel like control weather isn't
that easy, almost.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I think.
No, if you don't have it prepared, you don't have it prepared. Let's not even try. Like, it's fine. It's if you had it prepared. The upside to it working versus the downsides of it not, I think, would have been worth it.
Okay,
but it's academics at this point, as I said. So
right.
We can move on.
So here's the stages of wind control weather can control. It can make it calm, moderately windy, strong windy, gale, and storm. I think going by that scale, whirlwind and tornado is maybe a few levels above storm.
Yeah.
Can we not just walk around it?
We have to get to the center.
Oh.
It'll be calm at the eye of the storm.
Yeah. The problem is just getting to the eye.
I can make us a little. I can burrow us a little tunnel.
Courtney.
Would freedom of movement help at all?
Courtney, go ahead and give me a perception check as Bellamy is looking at the bottom of the funnel as she mentions that.
Okay. Oh, hold on now. Gotta do the thing.
Let me go ahead and wait. I don't want to clear the chat. Yeah, I'm going to clear the chat box out. It's gone. With a 12 as you're glancing, you're noticing, because you can just see every now and again the base of the mountain in the distance. As the tornado twists just enough out of the way, as I mentioned earlier, it makes small gaps. But the thickness of this windy area looks to be about 100 feet across, at least, that you'd have to run through. And you notice as the tornado whips by hard and fast, it would be foolhardy to just simply run through. Because definitely you're going to get whipped by the wind, and given that as you're watching, you see a boulder flying by. Big one. It's like, oh, that's heavy. Now, as for your freedom of movement, you could definitely make it that someone could book it in there without any trouble. It'll stop them from being affected by difficult terrain. So if the wind is turning the ground into any form of difficult terrain, plus if there's any magical forces to this wind that would specifically slow a character down, they'd be immune to that too with freedom of movement. It's a very handy spell. You might be able to make it that someone could run straight in there with all they got. However, the wind itself being a byproduct of whatever this is, because even though the tornado is magical, the wind within it that the tornado is moving is not. Player can still be thrown by that, or heaven help you if you get hit by a boulder. But you could definitely make it that someone could book it pretty straightforward without any reductions using freedom of movement on that one. Good catch. Because that's an important one.
Does the ground look like fairly loose, or is it like solid stone?
You can give a perception check specific for that one.
Okay. I want to know if it's dirt, diggable dirt.
Where you are presently appears to be mostly stone. However, as it gets nearer to the tornado, the ground seems oddly smooth. At first you'd even think sandstone, until you look real close and you notice mostly sand. The ground in this area appears pulverized, destroyed, torn, shifted into a fine dust underneath this raging tornado. Go ahead and give me a knowledge for nature check.
Okay.
As a druid who's seen some stuff in his day.
Can I guide myself in this check?
If guidance can be used on yourself, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You're in no rush here. Everyone's just sort of peering on. With a 21 on your nature check, you can see what's happening. The tornado tears with such incredible... Oh, 23, God. I should have let you roll that guidance before I started talking. Been like, oh, you needed that 2 points. But, well, I mean, you're above 20 here, so you're already kicking butt. You can tell the pulverizing of the actual mountain is creating dust as it's slowly falling within the raging tornado. One of the reasons you cannot see through it. It's partially a dust storm. But that dust that's slowly falling has created a layer of sediment on the floor, the ground. That's what you're seeing. That smooth, incredibly soft, polished sand, essentially. The real question is, how deep is it?
How much of a hurry are we in?
I don't
Right.
think
None.
time limit.
Rhea's gonna look over her shoulder. She's got a stick and she's at the edge of the crater poking the dead demon. She just looks over and shrugs, goes back to poking it.
Because Tiny Hut, as you all would be aware, the inside is very comfortable, and magic effects can't penetrate it.
But I don't think it can move.
No, but you can just cast it over and over again and just like kind of walk it.
It's not a bad idea.
This is actually, I'm gonna refer to Alan. Like, there's nothing in the spell saying I can't walk it.
Let me take a look, because
I go to the edge and then cast it again, and it's 10 more feet. Like, it'd be increments of 10 feet.
it does require concentration, though, doesn't it?
No.
No concentration on that? Oh, lovely. It's got a
'cause I can
duration of
sleep
8 hours.
Like, it'll end once I step out of it. But, like, I can kind of walk us in 10 feet increments.
1 second here.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
It's a ritual, right? So, like, it'll take time.
Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. That's your only kicker. Essentially, I'm trying to figure out, because you could say, well, I put my hands outside, but my body's inside, but I don't know by the wording of the spell if you could do that, strictly because spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. And I haven't heard of anybody stacking tiny huts. Let me see here.
Okay. Sure.
I'm just looking.
I'm just, like, trying to think of...
Oh, I understand. I totally get. The other thing is tiny hut is a dome. Because you could stand at the edge and put your hands on the outside and cast a spell, but it's verbal, somatic, and material components, so you'd have to stick your head outside the dome in order for your speech to be outside for the spell to work, right? If we're following spell and magical effects can't extend through the dome. But if your feet are inside the dome, you're within its area. If you're... Oh, that's it. That's it. No, we're looking at this too hard. The spell ends if you leave its area.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be leaving the area.
Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. If you're within its area, you can't cast spells.
But but like, sorry, well, like what we're saying is like, part of me stays in it.
I know, but at that point, you're no longer in its area. You can't be both in and not in its area in D&D, right?
All right, fair.
There's no Schrödinger mage. I'm just looking at this at a very strict level, but do me a favor. For the love of God, look this one up, because that would be really fun trickery, because I know Tiny Hut has a few special rulings, like things like Dragon's Breath will annihilate you if you hide in a tiny hut. They break the mass standard rules of magic. That's the reason why. Like, Jeremy Crawford's even like, yeah, Dragon Breath cuts through it, and everyone's like, oh no, what am I going to do?
Because it's not a spell, it's just breath.
Yeah. It's the essence of the magic of the world. It's not in and of itself magical. So, but that's interesting. I'm going to say, just because I don't have time to look into this one in detail, but get me info on that. Even maybe when we take a lunch break today, which might only be 5-10 minutes since we've only got 3 hours. But I like where you were going with that train of thought. I really do. I gotta say, that's some stuff.
But that's why. This is why I love.
What if I reduced someone to like a small size? Do you think they could like shimmy underneath?
Underneath what?
If you're thinking under the tornado and it's raging in hell, if they get caught by the wind while they're that small of size, they'll be a pebble in the ocean and gone. They might make it to the top really quick, though. And I will say, as mentioned, without that freedom of movement spell that you mentioned, if somebody just tried to walk to the bottom of that mountain, woohoo!
Yeah. So, medium, like, okay, so, just need to ask. So, I've got giant badgers and cave badgers. They're medium beasts. So, does that mean they're roughly the size of us?
Yeah.
Because we're medium humanoids? Okay.
Same sort of size, yeah.
The problem is, I think we've went over this before, when there was this snake pit. There's no, like, the movement, like, covers itself behind us. We don't make an actual tunnel.
No, Cave Badger specifically says when they burrow, they leave tunnels behind them.
Well, never mind then.
So I could summon, I believe, 8 cave badgers, which are medium, so big badgers.
Jesus.
I could send them ahead to, like, one, scout out how deep the sand goes and see if they could make us a tunnel to get to the base of the mountain.
As I will ask, can they dig through solid stone?
Well, that's why I was trying to determine the ground.
I'd missed that part just a little bit. I had a bit of a crackle on my side. I kind of hiccuped, literally. I will say, because between yourself and Bellamy, you've aced a few perception checks here. You can tell the mountain at a glance appears to be exceedingly solid stone. Whatever dirt, ground, or gravel may have once clinged to it has been stripped, torn, and pulverized to sand by the tornado. That mountain looks pretty damn solid. It's going to be a challenge. Jade, meanwhile, is probably sharpening his claws like, my friends, we are going to be using that climbing feature we have.
I thought that... I thought the base of the mountain was like the eye of the whirlwind. Does it get calm at the base, or is it the top of the mountain?
Relatively speaking, compared to the remainder of where this gigantic tornado spins, the edge of the mountain appears to be somewhat calm. And when I say somewhat calm, you can still see wind whipping, striking the side of the mountain, even at its base.
Okay.
But there's a very thin area between tornado and mountain, where instead of being at 11, it's going to be at about a 7. You know what I mean? If we're talking guitar amplifiers.
Right. But like a tunnel would get us most of the way there safely. Like we wouldn't be in danger from the boulders.
Oh, and all that stuff. You'd be underground and pop right up at the base. But I'm giving you the DM info that the mountain is solid stone. So unless you have a way to modify stone, I know a lot of animals in the game tunneling and stuff can't get through stone. There may have been dirt or enough loose soil on this at one point, but no, this has been spinning for 100 years.
And no, you say it's spinning and such. Can we see the top of the mountain?
From where you are, as you look all the way up, you can see the cloud, the plumes of the tornado, rising at least 500 feet into the air. They curve a lot more before hitting the skyline at about 750 feet, and then it's just clouds.
Okay, so it prevents us from seeing the physical top of the of the mountain.
Yes, the tornado itself reaches the clouds, so I mean...
Does anyone have stone shape?
Stone shape, what spell level is that?
I think it's a 7th level.
I'm just trying to pull it up right now.
Artificer, Cleric, Druid, and Wizard?
I don't have
it's a level 4
prepared.
spell.
I don't think.
What about this is maybe stupid, but what? I don't know if anybody has it prepared. What about gaseous form?
Don't have it.
I don't have it.
I don't have it.
And with the wind, you'd probably be blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can tunnel as close, but the last stretch is like would need to like run to the base.
Just
Oh, sorry, I was reading gaseous form. Was that a question directed at me?
No, well, I mean, nobody has
sorry.
it prepared, so I was just throwing out ideas.
I'm like reading.
I really like the tunneling idea. I don't know how much we're gonna get away with.
The problem is we can't. Let me look at all my spells in my spell book.
Like, how are we gonna get there? And Alex like, I can build a tunnel. Everyone's like, this ain't Minecraft.
No, I love the tunnel idea.
Yeah, I do too. Like,
I know. I'm only joking. Don't get me wrong. I just wanted to make a Minecraft joke.
Okay.
Definitely, though, with it being so much loose sand, you could certainly tunnel there. Shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I have anything.
With the end of his staff, Alec will start drawing a Celtic knotwork cave badger in the loose start.
Oh, doesn't your summon spell do weird things in hell? Like with Find Familiar?
Well, I think it affects familiars. It's never... I don't think it's affected conjure animals before.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out.
You see Alec like pausing halfway through drawing the Celtic knot, like, because of course. You're gonna go through with the spell cast, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. I only put that out there in case someone had an 11th hour. Oh wait! As you reach through in an attempt to summon them to this world and this plane, you find almost a wall, a preventative nature that doesn't allow you to bring the spirit forward. But something does grab on, oh yes, as the ground rumbles and shakes. and you see a skeletal clawed talon drive up from beneath the ground and grab on. Moments later, digging free. Instead of being what you were hoping, they look like the skeletal remains of armadillos. Quite large, though, with a more spiked shell than it's normal. Their hollowed, bony faces look at you with a big old grin on those teeth before they start digging the tunnel. With quite the same efficiency and skill of the creatures you would have summoned. The difference being, they are undead. That's the first and foremost. They act the same as what you were seeking. But they are first and foremost undead, and they are immune to necrotic damage, but they take vulnerability to radiant damage. Outside of that, they functionally are the same.
I feel sick.
Flux will be like rubbing his shoulder, like, I tried to warn you, man. Things are weird here.
And the best of it, the only thing that might calm Alex's conscience a little on this one, is simply the fact that you know these creatures, you didn't just create them. They were under the ground, tunneling and digging around, and you summoned them. These two things are independent and exist already. So at least you're not a necromancer. But that's the natural way for Avernus.
You know, my dad would have an absolute field day down here.
Nimber's gonna kind of look at the life cleric and see how she's handling that.
She is very confused and doesn't really understand what's happening.
Okay. So long as she doesn't look offended and need to attack.
It wouldn't help any that glancing at them as a cleric, it's the strangest thing. You've seen undead, of course. You've turned undead. You've had that sort of power. You can sense the evil, the corruption, the ickiness of it all, I suppose, if I'm going into the bluntness. But for these creatures that came forth, it is like looking at something that is alive, in a sense. Just something that exists. No negative attitudes, no chaotic anger to it, just a living undead. The weirdest thing. Things like this pop up in Avernus, but very rarely.
Yeah, she looks pretty grossed out.
Okay, but she doesn't look like offended that they're in her presence, right?
And Rhea pokes one with a stick.
She'd probably take a step back, but she's allowing it to happen.
All right, perfect. Yes, Nimber is like the grandfather of the group, so he likes to make sure people are all right with everything that happens.
Yeah.
Clearly, you two are not happy, but you're not offended.
Yeah.
So we can go along with this plan. Thank God, because I don't have a better plan.
So we're getting to the base of the mountain, all right. Should we try and tie ourselves together so Flux can anchor us? I assume she's the only one who is heavy enough to not let us float away, or?
I mean, I'm not sure about y'all, but I don't think I'm a very good anchor, so I like this plan. The small gnome looking like he would go flying in circles.
Flux will take a rope and start tying it around her waist. She'll do a couple extra knots and toss the rope to everyone else, and then she takes Nimbar and just kind of makes a baby Bjorn style thing for him with whatever rope is left, so that he's directly strapped to her.
Rhea, who's tying up at the front line with Flux, because I think her and Flux are going to be the heaviest in the full plates, plus, the high strength. Looks slightly disturbed for a moment, then just shakes her head, goes back to tying the knot.
Now the other option Bellamy and I both have the ability to enlarge people. Do we want you to be a heavier anchor? Do we think this is going to be needed?
How long does it last?
It'd last about a minute.
Well, if you feel like you need a stronger anchor, cast it.
Yeah.
But don't waste your spells yet.
Fair enough. It's a level 2 spell. I ain't worried.
Well, yeah, I know, but...
Yeah, no, that's fair.
What's the point of, like, just randomly doing it for a minute if we don't even know what we're facing yet, so...
Give me
also, that would force Flux to squeeze through the tunnel.
Yeah.
I believe the tunnels would be for a medium creature.
Yeah. So, like, you would need to do that as soon as we got out, and that's kind of, I don't know if we have time to cast and move, maybe? Check.
Well, we could put her first, and when she gets out of the tunnel, if she's feeling a little blustery, then we can enlarge her. Also, I'm really offended that you didn't tell me that you could summon a Plesiosaurus. That's really important for me to know.
I believe I offered to turn you into a T-Rex the other day.
You did, but a Plesiosaurus is like a whole other level, man. That's so cool. I love dinosaurs.
You should play Ark Survival Evolved if you ever get the chance. Super high grade graphics.
I do want to.
Oh, it's a good game. We just switched to Valheim from Ark, but in Ark you tame all the dinosaurs.
Ark is fun.
Loved Ark.
I played for like 5 minutes.
It's hard, but it's once you get there, I love Ark. But I digress. I could go on. Plesiosaurus, yeah, that's a lot of dinos that they put in D&D, and I love it, especially the Rex, because I mean it's a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Giant chicken. Melt on that thing to just crush a minivan.
I have a question. Does it seem like having a climb speed would help here? Like, help you climb to stuff?
Oh, it's probably not going to be a hindrance, that's for sure.
Jade will let you know when he goes to start climbing.
Yep, like I said, he was filing those nails, right? Because that's what he does. So,
Because I think when I get to the end of the tunnel, I might turn into a tartan ape.
Oh, not too bad. And I'm just going to move the party far to the right. You know, representing
sorry,
as
did you say
through.
Did you say a tartan ape?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, is he wearing a kilt?
Oh,
Or is he
could you
just
imagine?
colored like a tartan?
So, it wouldn't have been the first time you saw it, like, because when Alec first started going on adventures with you guys, he was wearing leather armor with the kilt, but he's obviously not with the dragon scale. So, part of his wild shape was he would just absorb the kilt and become a tartan ape.
Oh,
Okay. I don't
do
remember
remember.
that.
I have that mini still, the one covered in all the stuff that Sandy did up as a paint job. I'll get a picture of that up at the end, so they'll have an idea of what sort of a kilt wrapped around an ape. Like, yeah, that was some ass kicking. Oh, I didn't hit play on the timer. Shoot, get that going.
I think it was the ape
Skip an hour.
that did the wrestling move on the Manticore, I think, that survived.
That sounds familiar, so I'm gonna trust you. That sounds familiar. So without further ado, if the party is making their way through, any special things in the tunnel?
Any special? Well, there's the armadillos.
Yeah. Oh, they're leading along. In fact, one of them pauses for a half second. It seems to bite into a rather large grub that it pulls out and takes with it. The other one looks on. It nods. They keep going. It isn't until they make it and break through the mountain itself that grub has any real purpose. They pop up on the surface, one sets it down, breaks it off, the two of them sit and enjoy a bite to eat. You know, just relaxing. They're clinging, however, with their claws for whatever they can hold, for the wind whips terribly at the surface here. You find yourselves at the base of a mountain, and you'll notice I have an interesting looking map here. This isn't at all representing what you are seeing. Oh no. This map I am using as a vertical representation of your progress up that hill should you decide to climb. Presently at the bottom, as wind whips around, Flux, your head pokes up as you just glance slowly. You know, getting flashbacks to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles picking up the sewer cover, just looking around like, is it safe? Just like that. And you got a whole party behind you looking up like, what's going on? The wind tears violently at every inch of this mountain. Whips around hard. But you can find holds on the wall to manually climb if you wanted to take your time and go that route. There is a very small clearing at the base of said mountain, where you presently find yourself. Looking across the path you could have walked, you see the wind tearing the ground every now and again. As you climb out to see the safety of this zone, you pause for a moment as one of your footsteps finds your leg sinking up to your hip in the sand. As you notice what you thought was a small bush beside you is actually the head of a tree. Takes you a few minutes, because let's be honest here, you're a tank, but you ever get buried up to the hip in one leg? In snow? It sucks. You manage to pull yourself up and free using pure brute strength on the opposite leg. You can see how unstable and unfit the sand is here from being grinded off the top of this mountain. As your eyes trail upward, because it's Flux in the lead at the moment, sorry guys. As your eyes trail upward, you see the darkness and the crackling of thunder and storms above head. Sadly, your vision as blind in here as it is out there. You've never been so happy, however, for the assistance of Dagu and his friends, because you still have those goggles to block your eyes from the sandstorm that whips them. Outside of that, though, it does seem you have a safe plateau, and the remainder of the party is capable of coming up and joining you at this point. To lead into this area you find yourselves in. I'm just gonna grab the group over here.
So,
Does sand, terrain-wise, what is sand? Isn't considered dirt or loose earth, is it?
I suppose it'd be loose earth at the loosest case. This has been packed down. It's a century of a tornado tearing a mountain down, shaving it very slowly and grinding it to dust. So it would be the definition of dirt too, I suppose. But with the land so barren, nothing would grow. So you got a little bit of funkiness you can play around with at the bottom, you spellcasters.
Yeah, I was just thinking for something like mold earth, I could make particularly loose parts more solid, easier to walk along.
I'll
we get
allow
to
it.
that safe spot.
I got the sombrero on, leaning back. I'll allow it.
Chang.
Oh yeah.
well, while you do that, I can actually send my manifest mind to scout ahead a little bit. Because it's intangible. The wind can't affect it.
Go for it.
So,
I repeat my description. And you fly higher as you check out the mountain. Because none of the effects in this area can have trouble with it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hold on, I do have to check, as there are some global magical effects in the area. I'm not the most familiar, as you know, with that one.
Yeah,
Oop.
it's really, yeah.
Oh, so we're completely rested now at this point, right?
Oh yeah, you could have had
Okay, good.
a long rest to get here.
Yeah, I figured we probably did. I just see on my character sheet that I still have an Indomitable checked out, so I just have to.
Alright, so I just pasted the wording of the...
Oh yeah. So it
manifest
telepathically shares with you what it sees and hears? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the important part. And within 60 feet, 30 feet to an unmarked space, you see here that you or it can see. More than 300 feet away from you, it stops, right?
Yeah.
So
At no point will I let it go.
however,
more.
Once it breaks 30 feet away from you,
Yep.
the telepathic link cuts out and is, in fact, blocked. Oh, sorry, 50 feet. I was looking at the description of 30 feet away from you hovering. 50 feet. Once it breaks the 50-foot mark, your telepathic link is cut.
Okay, and then if we get closer, does it reestablish?
Yep. Restoring the
Okay.
50-foot barrier allows it to come back to you. And it is able to communicate. Are they intelligent enough that they actually store data? It can hear and see. Telepathically share with you what it sees and hears. But does it have memory? Does it have knowledge? Oh, fudge.
I mean,
I don't know
I
if
would
it's
say
based...
yes, because later on, it also...
Is it a drone without any SD card in it, or does it have an SD card? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's the... Because, at some point, it gives
an
me
object,
advantage
so
on
no.
it.
You cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral object. It does not have memory.
Damn it.
I could even say, on that note, it flies off 300 feet and is gone.
Well, no,
you
I
said
have to
go,
use a
but I-
bonus.
You can only get it to go 30 at a time,
30.
right?
Yeah.
So it goes the extra 30 feet away. So it hits the 60-foot marker and you no longer can communicate with it. I believe that's where we'd be right now. Now, with that, your character can try and climb 10 feet, which would allow you to recommunicate. But you notice the second it broke the 50-foot marker, you lost telepathic communication, and it's floating 60 feet up. Okay, magic, yes, good time. Jesus.
I love how, something as simple as climb a mountain has, I just make things so much more complicated.
I'm gonna derail this shit, send my masterful mind up there. DM leans back. It's an object, so it has no memory, because it doesn't say it does. Because it can see and hear and share with you, but it doesn't mention anything about conscious. So I'm going to say it has no memory. If I'm wrong on that later, by all means, we'll know.
I mean, will we? Is that something that anyone's ever thought of? Probably not.
It's an interesting one, because it's not a sentient magical object, just a tiny object, so it doesn't have sentience, so it shouldn't, but you never know when someone would say, oh, that's not how we intended it, you know? So, it seems more like a drone than it is an intelligent creature, so I'm running with that way for now, and, derailed. But you do see as it goes further up that this continues. The mountain itself, as a byproduct of being torn apart, damaged, and hit, you actually note as the thing is going up, one of the edges of the tornado scoops in and tears the entirety of the ground underneath it asunder. Should it have actually been a real being climbing at that exact point, at that exact moment, it could have led to catastrophic failure, or at least a couple deck saves. To give you an idea of what you're looking at on the way up.
Sorry, Alan. I just was reading more about the Awakened Spellbook.
Yes.
Because the Manifest Mind is just a manifest of the Awakened Spellbook, which has a consciousness.
Oh, the Awakened Spellbook has
a consciousness.
Oh, you awaken arcane sentience. So yeah, it would know what's going on, but without commands from you, it isn't going to do anything. It's in there at the 60-foot marker, I can no longer communicate with them. Better sit here.
Yeah. But when I get back, it would be able to tell me.
That's perfect. Thank you. So you could. That's good. That'll help us out a lot. You could layer a command. Okay, get to that 50-foot mark that you can go, then go 15 and 15 and tell me what you see. That's about the best you can do with it at this point, due to limitations.
Yeah.
Can I just ask? I kind of blanked. What was the thing that you said would require Dex throws?
Oh, if as I mentioned, as it was going up the side of the mountain, the tornado whipped in one of the edge pieces of it and tore the ground asunder beneath it. If, let's say, it was an adventurer instead climbing said wall at that exact moment, the results could have been catastrophic, or, require 2 or 3 deck saves.
Okay, so it just ripped a piece of the mountain side off.
Yep. Yeah. And I will say, with your druidic eyes, since you were the one to jump back on that one as you're watching, it wasn't, oh, something's climbing, I need to hit it. Nope. Because other parts of the mountain get hit like that, causing scars and jagged edges to be cut and torn every moment. However, with that in mind, you will also note it's all random.
Would it be helpful for me to scry on the little thing that you sent up, and then I can actually see what it's seeing for the next 10 minutes?
So the problem is, like, we're losing telepathic connection, so I'm not sure scrying will work. Right? Because, like, normally I would always see it, but we're losing that connection, so there's something that's...
okay.
So I could be wrong, like, I don't know for the scrying.
It would be a different sort of thing.
Yeah,
because
like,
the problem with scrying is you can either pick a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane as you, so it has to be a creature, or you can pick an area you've seen before and target of this spell. The other nice thing is if the creature knows it's you and knows it's you casting it, they can choose to fail and you get a free scrying on them. But we did just acknowledge that the book is technically an object, not a creature, when it's in that sentient form, right?
Oh, okay, I missed that, yeah.
You can clearly see where it is, so you could scry on top of it, or in the general area.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, the moving is what we want.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if we can see it already, then there's no point in wasting a spell.
However, on a failed save, the spell will create an invisible sensor within 10 feet of the target, and you can see and hear through the sensors if you were there, and it moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet of it for the duration.
Yeah, the problem is you have to target a place or a creature, not an object.
Yeah.
On a failed save. Let me see here for a moment.
I do love how we're both like, magic will solve all our problems, right?
Yeah.
But yes, instead of the creature, if you choose a location, it creates the sensor there instead, but it doesn't move. So you could shoot the sensor way past him and drop one, and it would give you a decent bit of vision. Right now, it looks as though your vision cuts out about 100 feet from your nose.
Okay.
And that's due to the obscurity of it all. All the dust, all the particulates, everything in range. Anyone's vision would be cutting at 100. If you have dark vision, specifically as part of your racial capacity, not by magic or anything else, I will stretch that to 150.
I do not.
I do.
Oh wait, yeah, I do.
There you go.
I think Flux is the only one who got it by magic, correct?
Exactly, with the goggles, but that won't help in this scenario. It has to be natural for it to work. The goggles, they do nothing! Except, protect Flux's eyes. You're all squinting against the sandstorm, and Flux is like, the madcaps really like me, and taps her goggles.
Oh, do we just want to start climbing and see what happens?
I mean, I can't think of another option.
Yeah.
Rhea gives a groan, takes a minute, adjusts her belt, adjusts her armor, tightens things here and there, puts the swords on either head, shakes her head, looks up, and looks at the rest of you and says,
"Oh my, this is going to be quite the climb up that hill. Good thing I had a good drink of water." And she winks.
Gives a wink as she pulls out a bottle. It's not water.
Alright, well, let's get going, guys.
And yes, obviously I have a new voice for Rhea.
Voice changer!
God love it. I can't... There's no way I can do a lady's voice, let's be honest here. I've tried, and unless I do an operatic singer, because that's an easy one for most guys like me to do, if I try any other female voice, it's more insulting than anything. So I found this good program, been testing it for a little while, and I think I got a nice one for Rhea. I hope.
I will say it was a little...
probably a little mechanical and staticky. It takes a lot of
That's the
effort.
word, yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to shift my voice over to that. And I don't really have any ways that I can go with it, but that's the smoothest one I could find, and I think it sounds a little better. But I can always go back to the other way I've done Rhea if everyone prefers it. I actually got this, not for Rhea. It was a side effect for her. I actually got this specifically for Dagu. There's a really awesome Dagu on here for you all to hear when you get back to Dagu.
Is it Dagu or Duga?
Oh, maybe
Because
Duga. Dagu, I think, is what they say. Hold on.
I think it
Duga.
was
Oops.
the.
He is
I
in the players list.
I thought his name was
Oh, is he?
D-A-G-U, Dagu?
Duga. They all say Dagu, but he's Duga.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I mixed it up. But he's Duga, the red cap. Duga.
Okay. Cool.
I got a funky thing just specifically for him, and I'm like, oh, there's a male to female, and I listened, and I'm like, that's not bad. That's better than what I can do, so I'll use that, so that's not bad.
So...
Don't worry, though, I'm not about to auto-tune and do some crazy stuff, but I might use it to put an echo on my voice for bad guys or something, or slightly deepen it more. It's just the female one really takes a hit on the audio quality. Bad guys, it's easy to add an echo. That doesn't make any effect. But poor John's headphones, it's like, why does Alan suddenly sound like he's a recording on a 98 answering machine?
Just before we set off, we need to go beyond... The climb is longer than 100 feet, right?
Yes. It's at least 500.
Ooh. Right. Yeah, okay. I can't really help with that.
Are we all staying tied together in case one of us falls? Okay.
I mean, I think so.
So...
I'd say yes, but...
Okay, I'm gonna go tartan 8 for the climbing speed.
Now, I will say for anyone brave enough to fly, or should you find yourself in that scenario, due to the exceptionally strong winds in this zone, first and foremost, in order to prevent yourself from falling prone for every 5 foot of movement you take, you're going to have to do a dex save. Every 5 foot of movement. You'll also be moving at quarter speed while flying. And those are the 2 important things to note. And that's just what I'm mentioning. It gets worse from there. Of course, climbing isn't going to be much easier. I will say that. But it might be safer. Because even if you have the hover ability, should you fall prone in air, you will immediately fall. The wind will tear you from the sky and smash you to the ground. You can tell this at a glance, that should you fall prone in air, even with hover, you're going down. John, you're not exactly sure for Nimbar how feather falling would be affected by this, if a boulder hits you while you're falling like a feather.
Flux will adjust the baby Bjorn so that Nimbar is like on the back instead of in the front.
Okay.
And she will spit on her hands and get ready to climb. Do we want one of us, like, if we have any extra rope, like, could one of us with the climb speed go up and toss a rope down, or do you think it's better to stay together?
I think it's better to stay together.
Due to the incredible volume of wind tearing on this area, Jade, you are granted advantage on your dex saves to cling to the wall. But outside of that, your climb's not doing you much better. You won't require any gear whatsoever for climbing, because you can naturally climb a wall. You have that climb speed. But beyond that, expect to gain advantage on dex saves when something tries to throw you off the wall, or if you're hit by a boulder, or bad stuff should happen. Expect an advantage for having your skill, but climb is just basically, I don't need tools, look what I can do.
Okay.
Because honestly, you have no trouble going up that wall, but with a tornado throwing boulders, everyone's going to have a rough time. And as mentioned, Rhea, she tightened up her gear, she's got out the climbing kits, you know. The rest of you all might want to consider how you're going to actually get up there. This is going to be athletics, or obviously for Flux and Rhea. And
me, it's going to be clinging.
Oh, sorry. And you're clinging. You're like strapped to Flux on the back, like
you're
a backpack.
strapped in. Your hands are free.
Yeah.
Just a head sticking out, looking like I'm readying spells.
You said it's at least 500 feet.
At least. In order to be classified as a mountain in the terminology of the multiverse, Alan is saying it has to be 500 feet here. So you know it's at least 500 feet up.
But we still can't see the top even from here. Oh, right, we can only see 100 feet. Never mind.
Before I transform, just thinking logically, a bigger creature would have an easier time in this wind. Just like sheer size.
Oh, probably.
You'd be less likely to fall off, but you'd be a bigger target to hit.
Because I could polymorph someone into like a giant ape, which has a climb speed. They could just King Kong it.
That's true.
I mean, I could do the same, actually.
The real question is who has trouble climbing? Oh, and your familiars. One's just like barely holding on to Dean's shoulder or Alec's shoulder, like, boss.
I can just you can dismiss them as an action and then bamp them out again later on.
It's kind of what I was hinting at. He gives the peace sign and just poof.
I would have actually left mine at the ship. Because mine has the ring, so I don't want to...
How far does the telepathy work on a familiar?
I mean,
100 feet.
50 feet?
Okay, good. I was gonna say that. Okay, hold on. How much are we gaming here?
Yeah, because like even if it gets outside, it doesn't just disappear, right? It's just like
The other thing is,
exactly.
they can turn into a spider and spider climb with you.
I think. Oh, can imps turn into a spider?
Yeah, it's listed in the player's turnout for imp forms. There's rat, raven, and spider.
oh
Okay.
How big of a spider though? Giant spider?
no, it'd be a tiny spider.
Okay.
So it's very possible to just get taken from the wind and blown away, which is why I would just leave mine at the ship.
As he's being blown away, Alec just be like, "Oh, okay, that didn't work. Unsummon." When he gets summoned back in, he just gets up. I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Falling for 30 minutes.
Well, I like the idea of changing someone into King Kong and just going right up there.
Who's gonna have trouble climbing? Becomes the question.
Me. I only have a +1 to my athletics.
Okay, well then, I can King Kong you. That's fine.
Okay, is there anyone worse at athletics?
Yeah.
I'll be fine as an ape. What about Rhea?
Well, that's like her only trained skill. She's like cracking knuckles, giving a smile, like haha, ready to go.
Yeah, Flex
that's,
is great with her.
She gets
Actually,
a +10.
Alex?
Someone could probably just hold on to the giant ape as well.
Yeah. Alec, can you cast spells while in wild form? I don't think you can, but you may be high enough that you can. I don't know.
Not yet.
Okay, then why don't you actually polymorph? That way I can, because my hands will be free. I'll be able to cast spells if we need them. And then I don't have to worry about the concentration too, right? Does that make sense? Or I can do it if you'd like.
No, that's fine. I can polymorph.
It might be better to polymorph me because like I have 7th, 6th, 7th, and 8th level slots, but I don't actually have access to spells above 5th because of multiclass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it might be better to polymorph me where Alec has higher level spells.
Yeah, no. So Alec will be wild shaping, not polymorph.
Yeah, so I think he just means I'll concentrate on your spell, your polymorph shape, while wild shaped. So it just means it will leave Nimbar free to
cast spells if we need it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so yeah, I can do that. Just means you'll need to oh no, we're out of the tunnel already. Yep. So yeah, I can do that when we're ready to go.
Yeah. It will mean you won't be able to cast spells well transformed, though.
Well, I can't do that anyway.
No. Sorry, I was talking to Bellamy there.
Alright. Oh, yeah.
Does it make sense to polymorph me if I can hold on to?
Yeah, I mean, we could
No.
always just polymorph like Rhea, and then Bellamy can hold on to Rhea if we want access to his spells.
Well, because I'm just thinking Jade, Rhea, and Flux, they can all climb, and you, Nimber, are attached to Flux,
Yeah.
and if Alec is King Kong, then I could just hold on to him instead of being
yeah.
polymorphed, and we could save a spell slot.
Yeah, no, actually, that seems like a good plan.
I think actually Dean mentioned that earlier, but I think I was talking over him.
I may have missed it myself, and if I did, I'm sorry, but yeah, that seemed... I
So
heard
you
him
mean-
say polymorph, which just makes...
You
got
want
me distracted.
you want me to polymorph myself instead of wild shaping?
Can you wild shape into, like, a large creature?
No, I can only transform into a normal 8,
Okay.
which is much stronger than Alec, but
Not,
it
probably
doesn't
not.
have the benefit of the size.
Oh.
Massive health pool.
Okay. Then do we want to polymorph me and have Alec hold on to me?
I could be your baby
Bigger?
gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or because I have a climb speed, we could have Rhea hold on to you. Because then that's one less roll. And
yeah.
we just have like Flux massive
Well-
strength to
Yeah.
she should be okay.
Well-
If
Rhea does get a +10. That's pretty boss.
yeah, that's pretty
Plus
great.
12 to athletics.
Yeah.
If you're already
What
carrying a couple people, it gets tricky if you're carrying more.
Yeah.
I'm only carrying Nimber. I
Yeah.
think that was always the plan.
yeah.
And he's
Well,
tied to me, so my hands are free.
Yeah, what we could actually do is polymorph Rhea, something with the climb speed, strap Bellamy onto the back of Rhea, that way Bellamy can also cast spells if needed.
Is Rhea gonna lose that plus 12 though?
It'll go
'Cause
higher.
She's got a plus 12. It'll be higher?
Probably because a giant ape's strength is. I'll check the stat block. I don't know if they're.
The big thing is she'll just have a climb
I-
speed, that we won't have to worry about checks.
I will specifically say anything that you can summon shouldn't have higher strength than Rhea. She's a 20.
I think a giant ape is just because of the CR rating is.
Oh, right. Monsters, dur. It's been a
A
day.
giant ape is a 23.
There you go.
Perfect.
Monsters are humans don't go past 20. Monsters do. Creatures do.
So yeah, I think that'll probably be the best bet.
And
Yeah, okay,
got
so
one, that's a
we'll-
really bad one.
So we'll polymorph Rhea and I will baby gorilla onto her?
Hooray.
Unless anyone has any complaints, like...
No, that works for me.
That's good with me.
Bellamy's jazzed that she can just hold on to Rhea. Even as gorilla.
I know I can wild shape myself into the colour I want. Can I polymorph Rhea into the colour that I want?
They do on Critical Role all the time.
Is it a giant ape that you're doing?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm just popping it in so I have its creature. Because if I recall, the trick was you just go to creature and drag and drop and it'll polymorph, right? I already had it in. Alright. Deep vision. With polymorph, it's everything. You lose everything, right? Except...
Yeah. It's only wild shape that you keep your mental capacities. So Rhea's going to be going full. She'll be ape. No, I think it still knows things like who its friends are and such.
Was anybody else
Uh,
apified?
After he casts the spell, Alec will go ape. And then just for
And you're
flavor's
wild
sake,
shaping it.
yeah. Once he's oh, I'm just a regular ape, by the way. I'm not giant.
Oop.
And you know that meme of the Planet of the Apes? Alec will look at Rhea and go, "Apes together, strong."
And Rhea's gonna look back at you, give a nod. Apes together strong. Don't do that. I wonder what she'd
All
sound like.
right, are we ready
Does she
to
have
find this
ed-
bad boy?
She's polymorph, so she can't say nothing, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think giant apes have a language.
She's a monkey. There's no way then directly for her to communicate out except sign language, but she's... Yeah, no.
Actually, we also won't be able to speak with Dean either.
I can understand you.
Yeah, but like normally you would have your imp to communicate, and that's not going to be an option.
Well, honestly, the two of them... Because I think the ape and the giant ape, they'll be the only ones who can sort of communicate. You'll see Rhea, she'll look over at Alec, and it'll just be...
Uh-huh.
That wouldn't even work either. I was going to say when I can cast spells in my beast form, I could like cast. No wait, no, it wouldn't work because you cast speak to animals. It's you that can speak to animals, not doesn't let you speak to non-animals.
You get that stuff in later levels that helps.
Yeah.
There we go, fixed vision on the tokens.
Alec will help Bellamy onto the giant ape.
Thank you.
Rhea flops down, just... Scritches under her
I
chin
will
a little bit.
close her back.
And thankfully, it's warm and comfy, unlike everywhere else in Avernus, because it's just, you know, the back of a giant gorilla. You see a regular silverback, those things look scary, but they're also covered in monkey hair. So, you know, giant monkey hair. Kinda comfy.
Is the fur like same color as her hair?
Yeah, she gets that fiery red over the whole form.
Beautiful.
Slams one hand into the rock, which cracks. She looks a little surprised, and you just see the smile. So her having climb speed will give her advantage on dex saves, essentially. Any other plans before you all start climbing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've got concentrating, so I can't do much else. I was thinking of trying to create a wind tunnel with wall of stone, but it's not long enough.
Things get wonky when you're dealing with a magical storm. As mentioned earlier, if you were to dispel it, you might get a couple seconds of calm, or even just the effect of a ripple of calm as you go through. Or it might be permanently gone. Putting up a wind tunnel inside the tornado might be a battle of spell strength. However, I'm looking at the time now and I'm thinking, did we want to take a quick 5-minute break for everyone to get a quick drink of water and, you know, the essentials?
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. Alrighty. I'll be back in about 5 minutes should anything come up, but we'll take a quick break.
Okie dokie.
I return.
I'm also here.
Welcome back, welcome back. I'm gonna have me some fun with this voice modulation software, all the little add-ons that I can use. I don't really care for changing my voice too much. I like making my character voices. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The little things.
Yeah.
Like-
I was about to say, who needs voice changers? I can do it
God.
myself.
Exactly. I got some fun ones up my sleeve, like Mahadi. He's actually based off an NPC I normally run called Oxnard Montalvo. He's meant to be the obnoxious lawful good hero, who you can't help but like because he's a lawful good hero. It's like, oh my god, he's so straight arrow and all that. And that is actually all based off Dudley Do-Right, the old cartoons, which is even where the voice is developed. I think you've heard that one, Bellamy, from Mahadi. Aha, well now, adventurers, wonderful to meet you all. That's Dudley Do-Right. Weird things we see in our youth that inspire us later in life. I like making up my fun voices, that's half the fun, but I can do cool things with this, like, I don't have to learn how to sing, all I gotta do is turn on some music and suddenly I can... Auto-tune's the devil.
Joke's on you. I can't even sing with auto-tune.
I'm not too bad, I just don't. I'd rather play guitar. But it's the effects that I can now put on voice are gonna be fun. I'll play around a little bit today. I don't really have any use for changing my voice to some deep demonic voice. I can do that with just easy use. My orc? I had an orc one time. Someone's like, I like the orc voice. I'm like, thanks. I literally put fingers in front of my lip where my orc fangs would be and talk with a gruff voice, and it comes out perfect. Little things, right?
Yeah.
That's a
I
lot
mean-
more fun to me than actually having the system do it.
Yeah.
My demonic voice, I just truly enjoy using it.
Hold on, let me see what the ogre actually sounds like.
See, now I sound like an ogre, and I don't have to do any effort, but it just doesn't sound the same.
Switch that back over to clean.
That was
Murder
really hard
Card?
to understand.
Yeah.
No. Have you guys played Jackbox?
Yep.
The murder mystery hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be honest, before I use any of these voice tools, I test them for that, and I have not tested the ogre. I just clicked it because it's an option. I'm using Voice Mod. It's a pretty straightforward and good program. Most of it's fairly clean without effects, so I'll have some fun. I mostly just want something so I can put reverb and vocal changes for effect. Y'all go underwater, I can build it on the water sound, but if I can get a blubbery with that from a vocal effect, that'd be cool.
Does it have a Bane setting?
A what setting?
Bane? Like
Bane?
From,
Oh,
the
I wish.
Batman?
No, I don't have Bane. I have a few interesting ones, but no Pain. I got T-Pain.
You know, the only thing you need for a Bane setting is an empty cup, isn't it?
Yes, Batman, you just need to roll the cup over. It will be no good.
Or something. I don't know. My Bane's pretty bad.
If you get a empty pint glass, you're pretty set for Bane.
Oh, man. Oh, it looks like we're all back now, so I'll take the paws off. We should be good. Oh, God, I didn't realize that's a pun. Take the paws off. Oh, God.
Monkey paws.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually do have a monkey vocal setting too, but it just goes and Discord cuts it out.
Oh, that's a shame.
I went to use it, but it didn't work. I was so sad. Actually, I'll give it a shot. It's called Kong.
Heard it for a second there.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of a growl, like the first bit.
Yep, the Discord noise gate catches it and cuts it out. It shows up probably on the recording just fine, but the Discord noise gate cuts it out. Because I actually record straight from the audio as opposed to Discord. But I'm getting into technicalities at this point. You're all strapped in, strapped up, and ready to go. You want to start climbing up the mountain? Alrighty,
Yep.
So then, what I'm going to say... Using Raya, normally it's Flux because she leads in combat, but given the fact that you've got a couple giant apes, they're probably the ones at the front of the line. She's going to represent the party's movement, and given your present degree of equipment, I'm going to say she can move a total of 20 feet per turn in present conditions as you make your way up the mountain. So as we go the first 20 feet, with party in tow, chained together, let's set up an actual lineup down here, excluding Rhea, because she's going to represent the party. For wherever the chain starts, I think the next one in line would be Flux, which means you're going to have Nimbar. And you know what? Since it actually works...
I was going to say, I was just going to ask that.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask that.
Reading your mind. And then after that, I think you said Alec, maybe? Or was he before? I can't remember. But if you can set up your climbing marching order, keeping in mind this is a vertical representation of your climb up the hill.
Bellamy would be map. Bellamy should be mounted to Rhea.
Rhea, right. I wonder how this will look. Perfect.
And was Jade one to lead the pack? I think he's fast. Well, I don't know if he could be as fast as a giant ape.
The party movement speed is 20. I believe Jade's speed is 30 or a 45 or something up there by default.
Climb speed of 30. Unless I decide to, double move and dash.
You can take full advantage of your climb speed of 30 since you're not carrying anyone or doing anything wonky. I've dropped Rhea's down to... Holy crap, she has 157 health as a giant ape?
She also has a climb speed of 40, right?
Yep. I've dropped hers to 20 half speed since she's carrying someone and needs to be cautious. You've been a tabaxi your whole darn life. Rhea has inherited Animorph style, a giant ape, so she's been one her whole dang life, kind of. But the memories are a little foggy. So she gets different bonuses. You can move your full speed. So you could lead in front of the pack. The party can also double move on any turn and move 40 feet together as a pack. But that doesn't come without risk. Same for you, Jade. Moving beyond your magical 30 climb speed doesn't come without risk. But then again, just climbing comes with risk. And in fact, during that first 20 feet of movement, because you're going to start where Flux is here. This is the draw line for where it begins. So Rhea has gone 20 feet in this direction, essentially climbing up though, remember. This is just a representation, like a snakes and ladders board of your journey up the mountain. The first 20 feet pass without any problem. Oh, and I'm gonna wink the imps out. I think they were both winked out?
Yep.
Mine was on the ship.
Oh right, yours is back on the ship, so he's not winked out, he's staring at Duga.
Yeah.
The mystical adventures of Duga and Sir Junior. As he attempts to learn the language of the madcaps, making various notes and scribbles. One word he thinks he figures out gets marked out and replaced with a different word, and then he realizes no, it was neither. Maddening.
Let's be honest, Sir Junior would be infuriated by Duga and, avoid him.
Probably.
He's getting chased.
He's like the pompous owl, for the record, Bellamy, because we haven't given him too much personality while you've been around. But he's just being an imp is beneath him, and he really doesn't like it.
He spent his entire life as an owl for hundreds of years now, sitting on a desk. My inspiration for his attitude was Archimedes from The Sword and the Stone. But more of a younger Archimedes. Archimedes being the bird that Merlin had, who was just like, I don't like anybody or anything because none of you are smart. Merlin's the best. That's the attitude I always got from him, but he was still kind when necessary. So that's sort of where I lean with him.
Yeah.
So, I digress. We have our march order, except Jade, you are not technically in the march order. You are represented as being at the front, but since you have 10 extra feet of movement, you can go and match up with anyone in the party at any time. So you are sort of a true Schrodinger tabaxi. You'll need to let us know where you're hovering at in the climb order at any given time, okay?
Where does everyone want me? That's the question. Since I have the ability to move between everybody freely, well, not freely, but more freely than the rest of the party, where would everybody like to have me?
Rhea looks at you and goes,
Flux will just say, you just do what I trust you, Jade, whatever you think is best. You can lead, you can stay behind, it's up to you.
Would it be a safe bet to put him in the middle then, so he can scramble forward and help or scramble back and help, because he's the fastest just now?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, we'll go with that. I'll stay in the middle.
And just to be clear, how are we tied together or not? Like, I know I'm tied to Nimbar.
Yeah.
Should I have a lead to Rhea? Maybe, like, around one of her legs or something?
Rhea has a party bracelet.
Well, you can put it out in two ways for this one. Right now, you've got a fairly decent buddy system, and I'm using quotations because having someone sitting on you is not necessarily a buddy system, but I don't know, I'm guessing Bellamy probably looks comfortable as shit. She's just sitting there like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nimbar's probably giving the nod, and he's bringing up a drink. It's very good, and the wind is whipping the drink out the glass, but he still looks like he's drinking it, you know. I'm going off on imagination land here for a minute, but in all seriousness, with that, you have the option of chaining each other together in a pile, or you can run your buddy system, where, I never thought I'd say it, but if Flux was in the rear, you could have a rope tied between yourself and Alec for Jade. You both are together, and you both are together, so you could run the buddy system. So there's two of you together at all times. That way you minimize the chance of, oh, I don't know, friggin', how heavy would Rhea be? 5,000-pound ape at, 15 by 15 foot of raw meat and muscle falling off the side of a cliff, and, a rope connected to all of you? I don't care how strong Flux is, that's gonna suck if everybody else goes first.
That's fair. Well, on that note, Flux and Rhea are at half speed because they're carrying someone.
Exactly.
So me and Jade can both move our full 30 climb speed in that case then.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Since you have a climb speed of 30 as an ape, you can go the full run.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea then.
And it would logically make sense, and this is from thematics, not at all for how we normally run things, that Flux would be in the rear. The remaining party members all have climbing capacity, but Flux, are you going straight on athletics on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I have plus 12. I'm not too worried. Maybe I should be, but...
Is that with the 30 big strength? Because if you put a hand on if you try to climb one-handed...
My hammer's not here. It's with I get 25 from the belt.
He's giving you the repair job to bring it back up to par, and plus 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On that note, I can't believe you gave one of your most powerful weapons to, the previous Lord of Hell. Wow. I'm gonna have fun with that, rubbing hands together evilly, the DM said while creeping behind his DM screen. But I can't do that because there's no table, but...
Well, I mean, it was broken.
Yeah, I know. Looks like not many other options. That's hell for you. So the first 20 feet have gone by without incident for the party as you make your way up. And I'm sorry, is it the buddy system or the chain together system?
I think buddy system's good.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Let's go buddy.
Alrighty.
Also means we have a spellcaster at the front and back.
This also means you notice as you go up your first 20 feet that due to the fact that you have not just a large, but a huge creature with you, being close behind her as you are, for the group of you, the wind doesn't hit you as hard. Bellamy, meanwhile, you're sitting there like, you're getting flashbacks to blaring at full force on your motorcycle. Well, your Devil's Ride. Your motorcycle, while throwing demons, Ichor in, and throwing other nasty stuff to get the engine to really scorch. Your hair's not been this whipped since then. You're just sitting on. Meanwhile, Rhea's like, her grip's in the wall, and you can see the hands tightening, and she's like, shakes her head against the wind. So she is leading the party, and her exceedingly large bulk is going to provide you some form of benefit should you have to make a check against the wind. Nice. 20 more feet of movement. That'd be 5, 10, 15, 20. And you can feel free to move your minis here as you wish, but we have now an official marching order, and I'm just pushing you forward on the line. As you move up, I am going to need an athletics check from Flummonoxus, as the wind howls hard, catching your heels moments as you move forward. You have advantage on this check, however, as Rhea's bulk has made it that the wind is scooping around her.
I rolled on... I forgot to hit the VTT button, so I rolled on D&D Beyond. It was a 23. I'll roll my second one through Foundry.
Alrighty.
Sorry, I
Odds
forgot.
are,
I'm
with your
usually
character
pretty on
stats-
top of it, but
Oh my god, I don't even use that anymore. I can't because I forgot it every damn time. And I click and I'd be like, oops.
no, I'm usually pretty on the ball. It's just
You-
because I
Oh, look
was
at that.
I'm drawing today.
Alan, you and me
Pretty
both.
25. Yeah, it's a lot easier. I do a lot of calculation on my desk table or on a side monitor as well, so you see most of it on my recording, but things like this, like as you're going up, am I telling you the rolls as I'm making them? No. It's all random if something bad should happen, but as you've now made it further, Flux, you hold on with the strength of your ancestors, or I don't know, something cool like that. Maybe just the strength of your badassery. But you
the
hold
strength
on.
of my stubbornness.
Yep. 90% of adventurers fall to their death, and Flux is like, no I don't, grabs. Continues
Absolutely
to climb,
not.
holding out against the wind as it whips. Another 20 feet rolls. Bellamy, go ahead and give me a roll on a d20.
Okay.
And Jade, I will need a dexterity savings throw from you. Ooh, very nice. And on top of that, I will also need a dexterity saving throw from Flux.
Just regular or advantage?
You would have advantage on this one. Oh
Am
wait,
I
no,
at
that's
regular?
the athletics. You would have no advantage on this one. It's just a regular,
no.
everyday dexterity savings throw.
My dex is bad, you guys.
Am I rolling regular or advantage?
It would be regular. It's just a dex save, unless you have a reason for advantage. Oh, right, you're climbing skill. You would have advantage because of climbing.
I have a point
Same
of
for Alec.
inspiration.
You got to roll it too.
Me? Okay.
Yep. And I will remind you, Flux, you're 40 feet off the ground. Fall damage is per
Okay.
5 feet, so you'd be taking 6d6 if you were to fall right now. A maximum
Yeah,
of 36 points of damage.
I have inspiration, so I'm going to use it to roll
Okay.
an advantage.
Alrighty. Give me an athletics check, Flux.
Just check, not save.
Yep, just check.
Okay. Normal or advantage?
You would not have advantage on this one.
Okay.
You know me and my... Oh, wow, still though. Good thing that's high. So, as a whip of the tornado strikes directly underneath Rhea's feet, which doesn't seem to affect her, she moves on. Good roll on that one, Bellamy, by the way, with getting a 19.
Whoop whoop.
Because she was literally just rolling for the odds of the world. The wind was low enough that it only tore the ground beneath Jade's feet, who was able to barrel flip right out of that one. In doing so, you notice Alec did not hold on. Jade, however, did not need to worry about the buddy system and trying to save him. Flux, being directly below, held on as the stone fell atop her, and was able to catch the ape and slam him back against the wall with her athletics check. All in one smooth go. You can't help but think as the wind's getting stronger, situations like this might not be so easy on the rolls. As you continue to climb up the mountain, another 20 feet. And I'll keep up on moving minis. Feel free to rearrange yourselves, but for the most part, this is the setup. I'll move you up every now and again so I remember how it goes, because the next 20 feet as you climb, Rhea's strong hands tearing into the stone. And then the next 20 feet. And the next 20 feet. All without incident. But it's as you start the next moment, I will need. This time, everyone needs to make a dexterity save.
Oh, I should have done something for my dex before we did this, because my dex is not good.
So, I have inspiration. Am I able to give it to Flux here?
You can give
only
it to
when I-
someone. That's how it always works with inspiration.
Well, wait, before you do that,
Oh, look at Rhea. I'm so proud.
before you do that, I have
See, got my
selfish
good
inspiration still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So can I use the selfish? Let's use the selfish inspiration first.
Okay.
Can you just, before I say
my
for sure that
God.
I use it?
Are you sure you're going to use it? It is a selfish inspiration.
Well,
You know
I
those
was
don't
going to
follow
ask.
the rules.
Mm,
You can definitely use it on yourself to give yourself inspiration in this moment. Certainly.
What do we know about selfish inspiration?
It doesn't come from good things, and it doesn't lead to good things.
Yeah,
Sorry, for everybody except the person using it.
I think you can just take my inspiration. I think that's fine.
Okay.
And then I will...
This is for climbing as well, right? So I'm at advantage.
Exactly. Same for you, Dean. You have advantage for Alec, because he has
Oh,
climb.
yeah.
Oh, guys! I just remembered I have
Oh.
Indomitable. I just remembered I have Indomitable.
Yeah, the advantage doesn't seem to be helping at all.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Nimbar, give me an athletics check, because that's obvious. Damn, Jade. You don't even notice. You just walk in like, oh, it's bad here. Freaking 31.
I'm going to point this out, just out of curiosity. Nimbar is tied to Flux. Does he need to make the dexterity save?
He does, because a strike of the tornado has torn across you all with enough ferocity that it could tear you away from even the bindings on who you find yourself. However, those bindings are really strong, but Bellamy as well. You go too, because you both rolled under a 10 total. However, we're going to give... Yeah, Ray is able to grab Bellamy, hold her down, and you have enough time to relash yourself. Flux, you can go ahead and give me an athletics check to see if you're able to basically grab Nimbar and hold him on. The advantage of having him tied to you is that you can take that moment to go, oh crap, buddy, hang on, because Nimbar's going. I mean, come on.
So do I have... So I do have advantage?
Not
Or
for
don't?
this.
No,
You're using an
just for
athletics
athletics.
check to grab onto Nimbar to prevent him from flying away. Yeah. Yeah, you just sort of like hold up a hand and grab him by the shoulder, and he's like, oh, thank you, more or less.
Yeah.
And, as mentioned, it only takes a quick moment to retie those lashings together. It's just the sheer strength of the wind was enough to tear the very ground apart under your feet yet again, risking throwing you all. However, Rhea, acing her dex save, look at that, she used up one of my 18s. And then, again on the athletics, she decided to use up my low roll where it didn't matter. She's not cool. I'm not liking that. But you all managed to continue on. This time, Jade, give me a roll on the d20. As you climb further up this mountain, as the wind tears harder at your forms, so you can feel it pressing you down. Ooh, that's no good. I am going to need a dex save from Rhea. Who wants to roll it? Or, alternately, you can do an athletics check. But, I'll warn you, because you know me, I like to sometimes say, hey, do this check, and then this check, and then this check, because A leads to B leads to C, and then I tell you the thematics of what happened so it looks pretty. In this scenario, I don't have that advantage, because sadly, when you look up, boulders are falling. Rhea has two choices. She can dex save, and just move out the way. Or, you know, she is a giant ape. She can use athletics.
I mean...
She's the party's NPC, so it's always the team's choice. And ouch, John, ouch. I see the sadness Chen now.
Athletics is way better for her. But I guess the implication is she'll just take damage and try and brush them off.
Yeah, but she does have a large pool, and then once that pool runs out, she has her normal pool. So I think that's probably a safer bet.
Yeah, I guess by the numbers, that makes the most sense.
That being said, if anyone wants to add the emotional equation, that's not... I'm bad at emotional equations.
Well, no, I feel like Rhea's willing to put ourselves in harm's way as well, but that just sounds like justifying taking her health away, which feels pretty horrible, but...
Well, it's not her health, it's the ape's health.
Yeah.
And hence why I leave you guys to have the emotional quandaries.
Okay, why don't we just go athletics, because the number is bigger.
Boulders. Alright. Well then, Dean. You go ahead and roll her athletics check.
dog shit today, though.
And I'm not, so you have to do it.
I mean, you rolled better than me.
Oh.
Oh, did you
Ooh,
ever?
baby.
Oh, it's because it's not my character, that's why the 20's there. Okay.
Alrighty, now I'm going to need a dex save for Rhea. Give me one of those two. Then once you're done that, a constitution save as well.
Oh my god.
Okay, is it... How do you roll a saving throw from the
Click
foundry sheet again?
Oh, click on the stat,
dex.
it'll bring up the options.
Oh, it's the stat I was clicking on,
Yep.
the +2.
Rhea has advantage on the dexterity saving throw for having the climbing ability. She gains no benefit for the constitution saving throw. Very nice.
And then a con save.
See, it really is you don't roll high on your character. Look at that. 20 and a 17.
Oh no, there's balance. There's the balance.
Ooh, we're getting a lot of wind sound from, I think, Alan?
Yep. Oh, I actually have wind playing in the background for the mountain. I'm gonna go ahead...
No.
Sorry?
Well, I think it's actually, like, on your mic. It's not
One
in
sec.
the background.
How about now?
Like the background noise is gone, but like the wind has been intermittent.
I have a
Maybe it was
wind
just,
sound on
I think maybe
Yeah, like
you were
right
just,
there.
I think maybe you were just exhaling with like a
Yeah.
sigh at the
Yeah.
bad saving throw. I don't think it was anything other than that.
Is it
Yeah.
how about now?
Just
Is it coming
fine.
through at this point?
No.
It is a
I'm not
boom
hearing.
mic on my face. It might actually have picked up my breathing.
Yeah, I
think
think
that's-
that's what it was.
I guess it was just like, I was just mentioning it because normally I don't hear any breathing off of your mic,
Yeah,
and I
no,
was hearing
it's
it really loud.
Yeti's way better programmed, and I probably had this right at my mouth, so I was doing mouth breathing like, hello.
no, I'm sure you were just breathing normally. I
Well,
don't. I
appreciate the
sometimes
heads
I
up. I haven't had a boom mic on my headset in a while. They've all been built into the headset, and I realized it wasn't in line with my jaw. It was in line with more like my nose, so yeah, that's probably. Yeah. Okay, so let me give a quick laydown of what's happened. As A leads to B leads to C. See, boulders were falling.
I do
Just
ha-
one, as mentioned.
Wait,
One
I
second.
have to make a quick joke. Rocks fall, you all die.
So then,
Sorry, I had to make the joke.
Imbar, go ahead. Before I continue, I almost forgot. Give me a perception check.
Oh, I'm not good at those.
Okay,
That's not bad.
So then, this is what happens. Because normally you see Rhea, one of those mighty gigantic gorilla arms comes back as her feet grips into the wall, fingers grip into the stone, and the arm reels back, ready to swing, knuckles at the edge. But Bellamy would probably notice Rhea's eyes shift at the last second as she realizes, oh crap, I have someone on my shoulder. I can't just swing. The arm instead comes up as she lowers her head down behind it, blocking the boulders as they come down. And with that incredible roll that you got, they just careen around her body. But they hit her nonetheless. 53 points of damage, bludgeoning damage, as she is pelted by stones large as a medium creature. Not only that, but the pain from it is so sudden and severe from the sledgehammering above her that she sits through. You notice Bellamy first, and then Nimbar, because Bellamy, you're sitting on her shoulder as all this happens. Rhea loses her grip. Falling.
Oh god.
First thing I'm going to need from the rest of the party are dex saves, because there's a giant monkey butt coming straight at you, so everybody give me a quick roll before anything else.
Do I have time for a reaction
Oh,
before
I know
we
what
get
you're
to the...
thinking. I know what you're thinking. You could be bringing up your hands ready to cast a spell, and your reaction like, okay, I can do this instant. Oh shit, monkey butt. You gotta give me that dex save first. So.
Oh god.
It's okay. It's okay. I have Indomitable, and I'm gonna use it.
I got.
I've not rolled above a 10 on Alec.
Do I have to roll dex save too, where I'm holding on to her?
You're going with her. Actually,
Okay.
I gotta. Oh wait, hold on. Let me check the ruling here for a quick moment. Oh, that's unique. Yeah, you check your message. You've got a special situation for yours since you're attached to a
okay.
flying creature. As for the rest of you, as Monkey Butt is flying past. Oof. Nimbar, you stay attached to Flux. Flux! You stay attached to Monkey Butt. Sorry.
What it knocks me down to?
You're going to need to give me, at that point, an athletics check to see if you can hold on. So you manage to grip into the wall and hold on with all your worth. And Nimbar, you're already turning your head. Don't worry, we'll get to you, bud. We'll get to you. We really will. Because I know at that point, first you ducked in like, oh, crap, okay, I got this. Because you've got feather falling. How that's going to work is you're looking as you see boulders switching through the air and all that. We've mentioned that. As for the rest of you, our ape got a 12 on his save for Dex. Or a 10, rather, for his save on Dex. That is just enough. Squeeze yourself against the wall as you dodge Monkey Butt. Because I can only say that so many times. I love it. And Jade, I'm not sure you noticed. You were 10 feet ahead because you rolled a 31. Like, I'm going way over. And a new day starts at that exact moment, too. Look at that. I got a note that the moon phases. Is that third quarter? Dang near half moon out there we're looking at. As you all see Rhea tumbling past. Imbar, let me guess, feather falling, right?
Yeah, feather
You're ready
falling.
to. But the sudden blinding surge of light that ricochets forth makes your character take pause.
What light?
A blinding, bright surge of light for just a brief instant, just a flash, like nothing you've seen, or maybe oddly familiar, in fact. You can't place it at first, but what you do see, which is quite particular. Oh, 1 second, I need a drink of water. I love it. I get a coughing fit just at this most epic of moments. It's like, cut to commercial break. Everyone's like, no.
Technical difficulties.
Why don't we just go ahead? Flash over here, because at this point we got to see what's happening to poor Bellamy, strapped to the back of Rhea, looking a little bit, probably kerfuffled as she's staring at the rest of the party for a brief instant. You notice, coming off of Rhea's back, because you all see the front side of the gorilla floating in air, two large, beautiful wings, in fact. However, when I say large, I mean for a medium creature, on the back of a gorilla's head, it looks like... And you notice that these wings are coming off of Rhea. Bellamy.
Ah! It's happening!
Character is literally floating there with a big spectral sphere of massive angelic-style glowing wings. I think they were anyway. I may be off with the description. We'll get that fixed in a moment. Floating with Rhea. Instinct seemed to have caught over, and Rhea's hands scrambling catch onto the wall in front of her as she comes back to her senses. She's dropped 10 feet, but, you know, But you do see Bellamy has wings. Has seemingly saved Rhea's butt.
She's freaking out.
So's Rhea, but you know, she's more like clinging to the wall, anime sweat drop on the side of her head, eyes wide, hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rhea...
You know, when you put, like, a cat in a bag, and then they freak out?
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening, except she's, like, trying to hold on, but, like, also like, oh, what's happening?
You'll also notice a similar glow to her eyes as well, Carrie. I think that's the case for the character anyway.
Yeah.
What sort of color did you go with on those wings? Were they large angelic style or dark wings?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like big, fluffy white angel wings.
So, would Nimbar recognize these?
You've recognized the effect in the past, but you'd have to do like a general knowledge check for the sort of races that could possibly possess angelic features like this.
So just straight intelligence, or?
Intelligence, knowledge history, knowledge arcana, any of them are going to supply for anyone.
Okay, I'm going to use Arcana because that'll give me a bonus. I'll have advantage on it.
At a 26, the only race you can think of the top of your head who could sprout wings, because I will mention for Bellamy, they are only temporary, right? They do last for a little bit, but then disappear in the same sort of light. And I'm using that very thematically. Consider it a one-time thing. They will appear as per your character's design, as your style. It's just, you know...
Yeah.
I'm all over the place with this one because it's half fun. It's the one big bonus. But the only race that you can think of would be the Aasimar. Or Aasimar, depending on how you pronounce that. Aasimar. Human-based, plain-touched native outsiders. That in their blood they carried some good, otherworldly characteristics. Often, not always, descended from celestials and other creatures of pure good alignment. But while predisposed to good alignments, they were by no means always good.
Okay.
They're a wise and charismatic race, so it kind of makes sense, but usually, often with the Aasimar. Let me just get a picture of one, I'll put it up in the chat. If it doesn't go through, let me know. Nope, it did.
I see a period.
It is.
Nope,
Yeah,
two
no, that's
broken
not-
images.
Let me download that. I can respect web pages that don't let you link. I'm not really doing much with my link, it's a one-time thing and then gets deleted. But I completely understand. Oh, wow, I'm actually blocked from getting it.
Oh, really?
Wow, that's really clever. Okay, one sec. Hopefully this works. Yay!
Yeah.
That's the sort of image that flashes to mind when you think of this race. Bellamy, however, looks, until the wings popped out, fairly humanoid.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not the sort of race you encounter every other day, or bump into, or deal with whatsoever. And the one that happens to be pressing Rhea back up against the wall is in the process of hyperventilating, along with Rhea.
So, Nimbar is going to assume at this point that Bellamy thinks she's human, and doesn't realize she's not. So that's a conversation for not clinging to walls.
Oh, yeah, and if you pop those wings again while flying on this area, I will say, because I did rolls in the background, the same risk applies every 5 feet of movement. But that was basically a freebie one-time save that you got, so your character can use their up/slashed power. I've tried a few other times to set up situations, I will admit, to trigger this, knowing that eventually you had to do this mountain climb. Damn it, wizards and clever players. It's like I'm rubbing hands together. Certainly in this instance, we're just gonna do such and such. And it's like, okay, great, yes, moving on. Oh, but yes, discovered more to Bellamy's nature. But, as mentioned, the climb must continue. Any actions from Bellamy or anyone else in regards to this before you continue climbing?
I would like to bonus action hyperventilate.
I think that's actually a free action.
Oh, perfect. Even better.
Wonderful. So, Rhea's gonna start to make the move again as she drags forward another 20 feet. At this point, she makes it without incident, thankfully. While, looking back at the hyperventilating one on her shoulder, Rhea's going to make a moment and point. Because you realize as you look back now, you're a couple 100 feet up. But that's not what Rhea's pointing at. About 40, maybe 60 feet off to the side of her vision, and in the remainder of your vision as you come near, you see something of great interest as the wind howls and presses hard on the exterior. You see a cave.
Wait, there was a cave down?
There's a cave in the side of the wall on your climb up.
And we missed it.
So
No, it's
like,
60 feet away from Rhea upward further.
Oh,
She's giving the indication I was saying she looked down for a minute and then looked up and started pointing. Cause she
Okay, I
was
missed
taking a
the
moment.
looked up.
I was sort of
Okay,
trying to give
right.
the whole, it's so tall, you've gone so far, because all those 20s have added up.
Well,
Plus, I'm extrapolating a little bit anyway, so I mean...
How long have you been climbing for, Alan?
At least 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, right.
You're all
Okay,
very
I was-
efficient climbers. I did the math with the distance of the measurement. About 300 foot up there, too. And there's still a
Sweet.
ways to go.
I was worried you were going to say like an hour or something, and I was
No.
like, ugh.
Well, according to this, 1228, that's how long it's been because there are these moments of pause, right? This isn't treated quite like combat.
Okay.
And I know at 12 o'clock you would start it, because I admit... Oh no, that's when Bellamy fell and her wings popped out, was exactly the 13th of Uktar. The third day, that's a Wednesday, essentially. So you're lucky it wasn't a Friday, that'd be bad luck.
On Wednesday, we wear wings.
Today is Wednesday.
Great reference. Great reference.
Thanks.
That's good.
I don't catch the reference, but I love it.
It's from Mean Girls.
Oh, okay.
So you can detour to the cave and find a place to rest up, or continue traveling north. As mentioned, you've already used up at least half an hour, and I'm going to say another 15 minutes beyond that, getting to this point, because the climb up till now, oof. So you've got about 15 minutes before an hour is up.
Well, Nimbar would know that polymorph lasts an hour.
Nimbar will motion towards the cave, saying, "Yes, let's go to the cave."
Alrighty, and as you're making it, I'm going to need, except for the people who are hanging on, so from Bellamy and from Nimbar, that's a no, I am going to need athletics checks, and you do get that with advantage, Jade, and advantage for Alec as well. Rhea's got to do one as well.
Advantage for Rhea as well, I assume,
Yeah, she's got climb speed.
and glowing wings.
Boy. Not my best check.
Hang on, did I roll 2 12s? No, that's a 4. Okay, that's a dice roll above 10 at last.
I got all your bad luck, Dean.
So your rolls are high enough to make it further through this area, though Flux, you were cutting it close. You
Yeah,
get
I
the feeling
figured.
the DC has a linear growth pattern as opposed to having solid numbers like everything else. But
Yeah.
that meta knowledge fades from your character's mind just as quickly as she thought of it. Wondering what the
Yeah.
hell is a DC? But you do make it as you climb further to the cave. Rhea's giant mitts catch on to the edge of it, and as the rest of you come, she literally reaches a hand around and will wrap it around your torsos, give a nod, pick you up, and set you in the cave. Make it easy for everybody before hopping up and in herself. And we're gonna say, due to the time factor, that'll be just about when Polymorph is wearing it. And we're gonna dismount. turn Rhea back into normal.
I have a question.
Is that
So, Find Familiar says you just need to use an action to, if you temporarily dismiss your familiar, you can just use an action to bring it back, because the spell's already been cast. So can I just bring my imp back in the cave so I can talk to people through it?
Yep, you dismissed them, so it's a... Wait. If you're able to do that while you're turned into an animal.
I just... Well, so
It doesn't say you need to use verbal components, does it?
If it doesn't say anything
Yeah.
about any verbal, because I don't think it does, I think you can summon it back.
Okay, cool. Because it just says an action. So
How long does your wild shape last?
my wild shape at this level lasts like 7 hours.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if Nimbar is removed from Flux's back, because as Rhea is climbing up, she actually starts to revert back, because I didn't watch the time close enough, but I'm sure it's over. As she turns back into her normal state, blinking a few times, and ends up going flop because Bellamy's sitting on her shoulders. Rhea just gets that moment of looking up like, hello. The awkward situation of getting, like, 20 pounds of rope off of them. It literally just looks like they're stuck inside of a ball of twine for 5 minutes. However, that's just the comedy on the side, because something like that had to have happened. She was turned back to normal along with... Well, Alec's different. He's wild-shaped, and he's probably still fine.
Yeah.
As you look into this cave, you notice the darkness carries on.
Hello,
Deep,
darkness, my old
dank,
friend.
no light in any form that you can see, with moderate cobwebs clinging here and there and everywhere. And it widens in incredible mirth as it goes in. Though your vision does dim upon looking in, except of course those of you with dark vision, it becomes fairly straightforward to see what's inside. What appears to be dozens of small hell cats, or what would appear to be such. They look feline in nature, but no fur covers their form, and a body lanky and brightening, skin and bone. They glare at you through the darkness and hiss with bared fangs, pink flesh, a striking contrast to the blackened dark of the monster back of the room. Red eyes open, shining in the darkness, as rows of fanged teeth spread wide. Lanky arms, easily 10-foot reach, as this thing, the darkness, straightens itself up. You see it has one of the cats in its arms, dragging in long fingers across the back of the beast, which lets out an odd sound akin to what you would assume to be pleasure. The monster takes a few steps forward as its head turns, smiling. Visitors, so rare. See visitors. And the grin grows more so wide. Bloody fangs on clear display, though no eyes can be seen upon its blank face. Never have you seen a finger double face. Rhea, meanwhile, is going to look back over towards Alec and Nimbar and give a nod.
Can either of you turn me back into the giant monkey now? I might need that.
Alec will just do the little you know, the chameleon thing from Tangled gif you always do.
Punch, punch.
Yep.
Admittedly, she's already got a hand resting on the top of her sword, and the shield being brought out onto her arm. Though the monstrosity at the end of this cave, probably 50, 60 feet, doesn't seem to make any motions towards you.
Just so I can speak, that my imp is like invisible on my back, and it's just going to be like a speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker.
Sits down, and he just settles in. He goes, you guys have a fun time climbing up that wall? That looks miserable, but wow, look at this cave. I bet you if I yell, I could get echo. Worked. I like it. This place is pretty cool, boss. Who's the scary dude at the edge?
Good question.
And he sets the terror cat down as another one brushes up against him. Sorry, don't start at the blip. And as he walks away from where he was at, going to the other side of what clearly looks like some strange home, with makeshift furniture, stone table with chair carved out of pumice at best, you notice in the corner of the room something interesting. Seated in a chair against the back wall with one of the hellcaps in his lap. Blue-skinned, however, unlike the new ones. Sleeping, both of them, appear to be an old man. Little more than robes on. And you can all do a perception check on this one. You can even do one for Rhea if you want. Sorry, Nimbar.
I'm not surprised.
Bellamy's in full panic. She's not perceiving anything.
You're just like patting her back, like, where'd they go? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Where did they go?
Yeah.
Nimbar probably walking over because he rolled like, he rolled a really low rate, a 4. Yeah, he's walking over to her like, calm down, young one.
Yeah.
You must learn of the Asamir. I think you have. She's like, I'm not an ass. What are you saying to me? To all hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jade's
Yeah,
like passing her a bag of holding to breathe into, and she's still overusing it.
Yeah, Nimbar is like too busy trying to calm her down.
As for Felix and Jade and our ape friend, whose name will go unmentioned. Alright, I can't do that now. As the three of you look on, you notice on this old man who's sleeping, who has his hands resting on a staff in front of himself and his head sort of bobbing forward. On his old clothing and robes appears to be priestly vestments, possibly, these belonging to the church of El Turel. It actually makes sense for Bellamy and for Nimbar to not notice this anyway. He didn't really have many interactions with El Turel. Well, Bellamy did, but that was, a quick one. The party, they were up to their neck in it, so for the other three to notice, the dice are in an odd mood today, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you do notice the vestments of El Turel on the old man, worn, torn, gray.
Boss is asking if you're seeing what I'm seeing.
What's with the robes, dude?
He's asleep though, right?
The demonic-looking entity turns, its body shifting like twigs cracking as it does. It looks down at itself and looks up. Please do not. Wait, hang on. We'll go all over this. I do not want you speak of. I do not wear. But he looks somewhat.
Is he cutting out for anyone else?
Yeah, that's not working too well, is it? I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that for the add-ons.
Yeah.
It was supposed to give me like a cave echo on top of the echo and work, but something to play with another time. So long, I get my Duga. That's the important thing, because I got a really fun one for Duga, but I'm holding it in my back pocket for now.
Okay.
That and Rhea, that works. Everything else I don't care. I just hope I get an echo. Damn it.
Could you repeat what he just said?
What he had said was, as he moved looking like broken twigs, as he peered over himself, he says, I do not wear these robes you speak of. I do not wear. As he looks over his clearly nude form. But mind you, there's nothing of any descript nature to said form. He looks like he's... A demonic tree would be the nicest way to put it, but he is of flesh and bone. He cracks
Does he look
like the
Slender Man?
Sorry?
Does he look like Slender Man?
You know what? He has those sort of style and design, but the entirety of his form is charcoal and blackened.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what species he is?
Sure. You
Jesus.
ain't never in all your days seen a creature that exists like this in your world. Never. You're more certain with rolling a 30 since you broke the big numbers.
Yeah.
This guy isn't from around here. You've heard of some of the scarier denizens of the multiverse and the other 8 planes of the hells and the abyss and places like that. His mannerisms, the form and construction of his body, the way he acts and twists and turns, is not of any creature that you're used to encountering from any of your educations. So you know he ain't from around here for whatever the hell he is. You're reminded of that creature of undeath.
Alec will ask for his who's your friend in the chair?
Pauses, turns, looks over. Gets a scowl on the faces. You see a frown on those wicked fang teeth. That is no friend mine. Audacious cur. No matter what I do, what kindnesses I show. You see the hands clenching at the goodness I give thee home over the head. No matter what, that audacious hellcat will not allow me to pet it. So clearly he thinks you're talking about the cat.
Okay. Yeah. Do I get the impression that he can't see the guy in the priestly robes?
You have no idea at this point in time. This is just one very strange being you've bumped into.
Not the cat, the man.
Oh, you mean Billy. And at that exact moment, you see the old man's eyes pop up. Stick stumbles a bit. The cat jumps up. He puts a hand on it. It's okay, Ophelia. Cat hops down, stretches. He blinks a few times. Oh, my word. I was having such a wonderful dream. I had cookies. And he looks and sees the group of you, rubs his eyes a bit, looks up at the big monster demon, and he goes, "Am I still sleeping?" "No, Billy. They are here." "I told you, it's William." The old man slowly rises to his feet. Kane taps on the ground as he walks over to the lot of you. See, he has a small limp on the left side. Oh, this is a pleasant surprise. I've not seen another person since the time in L. And you see he's wandered his way over, of course, the flux. And he comes up to, I don't know, elbow. And he gives a tap with his cane on the side of your armor. Oh, look at that, too. Wang! Battle ready. That doesn't offer a show now, is it? Legs shaking as he has one hand still on the cane. Big smile on his face. So wonderful to see people. Yes, dear.
Can you please tell us who you are?
Yes, I am Ezekiel the third. Yes, the third. From the holy city of El. Perhaps you've heard of it. Oh, yeah, I could certainly use your help liberating it. You see, we've had our trouble as of late, but it has been so long. This guy looks like he's 70 bloody 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you mean about it being pulled down into hell?
My dear young boy, I was stuck out there in that there place and had a few of us on, and suddenly, pop, we're down this way. I don't know what's going on, but next thing I know, demons, fiends, devils, surrounded, all sides of me. I tell you, and he holds his stick up and gives it a big wide swing. Almost hits a couple of you, in fact, but just misses, you know. Crotchety old guy. I would have given him a 1-2, but this one with horns just grabbed me and a few others by the shoulders and took us. I sad to say I passed out at that point. It was no scary. Happy I wore the brown robes. But, holds a finger up. When I came to, I was flying over, and I just brought up my stick, and I was like, Demon, be gone, Richie, by the thunder's claw, and I beat him. He dropped me. I fell. Oh, God, I fell. And you see the other devil that's with him, or monster, or fiend of the night laughs and says, yes. He barrel rolled in through the cave door entrance as he fell from the sky, caught webs and broke his hip. It was so fun watching him hobble for months as he healed. The old guy glares. He goes, still haven't quite healed. Getting there.
We have taken care of your problem.
He looks at him. My hip? You brought meds?
Well, we can take care of that
Alterel's-
too, but
Alterel is returned to its usual spot. We saved Alterel.
The old guy seems to pause and he leans back a bit. He goes, no, you did.
Yeah.
My word, I can't believe it. See some tears welling up in his eyes. My home's already saved. God, I know I picked the right adventures when I got the lot of you. Look, I told you could do it, didn't I? Yes. Big smile on his face.
Wait, do you mean you brought us here?
What? Brought you where?
What do you mean you picked the right adventurers? What do you mean?
You said you were heroes and you came. And I was like, I need my home saved, and you said you did it. And he pats himself on the chest. My prayers answered. I did well.
Oh, okay, so I just misunderstood him. Okay, my bad.
Which happens quite often with old people.
I'm sorry, you guys.
So, he's wearing, like, vestments of a priest and such, right?
Yep. Well worn, well burnt, well damaged, and well soiled. And I don't mean that in a pooping himself way. I literally mean he's been wearing the same clothes for, like, months without the ability to actually clean them.
No, I know I rolled a poor perception. Have I noticed that yet? Especially with how he's talking?
You would notice their priestly vestments at a glance now, yes. And you might recognize the symbol of Elturel with a knowledge check, where your character basically only gone to the town and then went down with the players. It would be a shift. For the players, every single time they met an NPC, they're like, hey, look, I'm from Elturel. Though, then again, Rhea does have the symbol of Elturel, so that'd be a giveaway.
He also said he's from Elturel. So
yes, he's a priest of Elturel from his words. An old man who was picked up by devils, went unconscious, woke up, hit them a few times, and they dropped him. He landed in here, broke his hip, and has been mostly healing here since with this devil, who seems very kind and nice. You do know this big scary demon is just petting the cats.
I'm going to look at Rhea at this point and kind of whisper to her, see if she recognizes him. It's a low probability, but there is a probability.
Rhea's gonna lean back, rubbing her chin, tilt her head to the side a little bit.
Well, I'm not actually sure. There were a lot of older cloth men, and when Elturel fell, we kinda lost a lot of them, so probably.
Okay.
Rhea was in the Hell Riders. She didn't so much go with the priests praying. She'd walk by them, they'd greet each other, and she'd go to her duties. But she wouldn't recognize any of the priestly, unless they were, like, the head.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a low probability, but there is a probability.
Anything's worth a shot.
The worst she can do is say no.
Old guy's gonna take a walk forward, and he's like, if you've really saved out of hell, maybe you can help out this old man. I might be able to help you all as well, too, and he says as he taps his nose, wiggling one finger. You can probably guess. And he looks out a little bit out the cave. There's no way I'm going to be getting up or down.
this here mountain anytime this century. I will most likely die in this cave, and the cats will eat me.
And he has a little bit of a frown as he looks down a little bit at that one and sighs. You see, the fiend behind him laughs and says,
Yes, I am waiting. My cats would very much like a new meal, but they are somewhat taken to him.
which doesn't seem to be the case. Most of the pink cats growl and hiss at everything and everyone except the devil demon himself. The old man, however, the one pink cat gives him a nudge before moving on. Or the blue cat, rather.
Okay.
He gives a nod. He's
Like, if you can get me out here, I can do you a favor. Because I imagine if you come up this cliff, you're seeking the guidance of the mighty Sphinx on top.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Wonderful. Now, that is very, very stupid,
he says with a nod of his head.
because it is very, very violent.
The other fiend in the back speaks up.
It is why I live here. Quite often I get to feast on the leftover
Stop!
William says as he holds up a hand and he looks somewhat sickened.
No. I can make it.
He says with a nod.
I have something the Sphinx wants, you see.
Tapping his head.
I can make it so we don't have to fight the Sphinx. Definitely. But I mean, it's risky, so you gotta be able to help me out a little bit here too, right? Like,
It's back in the cave.
this is a great home. I don't want to die here. Elturel's my home, so I'd like to go back, but I'm stuck here. Tell you what,
He extends out one shaky hand.
you help me, and I will make sure we don't have to fight that Sphinx.
Should we be?
So he pauses.
we-
He's like, though.
So I should say, someone's gonna have to carry me.
Fox will start making a baby Bjorn out of the rest of the rope.
Should we be a bit more forthcoming about our goal? Because if he comes thinking we're gonna ask for advice and we're not, but we're looking for something a bit more than that, he might not be able to help at all.
Fox will just kind of pull her goggles off for a second because she's been wearing them the whole time. She's like, listen, I gotta be honest with you. The mission when we go see the Sphinx might be a little bit more dangerous than we let on.
He kind of pauses as he lowers his hand a little bit. Seems to droop sad and goes,
Oh, if you're intending to kill the Sphinx, I'm not sure what I can offer. I can only offer free passage away in dealings with the Sphinx, so that we won't have to fight it. But if that's your intent,
No. We need an egg. We need its egg.
Oh, well, that's not a guarantee of a fight. Wonderful.
extends the hand right back out. He's like, come on.
I don't want to die in a cave.
It'll trade. It'll trade us. Okay.
At the very least, I'll get you an audience, but we won't have to fight it. I promise.
I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna walk over then to Ali, grab your hand with his old hands, both of them clenched around yours as he shakes. Says,
Oh, thank you. I did not want to die here. Oh, it's a deal. Wonderful. Let's get our asses gone.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Is he caught on to the fact that the gorilla's mouth isn't moving at all?
oh shoot, I forgot you weren't normal. He's gonna grab on the flux grab your hand. You know, the two-handed I'm so grateful grasp as he's shaking your hand furiously, like, thank you, oh my god, yes. Because he sees you bundling up and getting ready to basically put him on for you as well, right? So, here's the question for the party. This seems like an okay cave. Do you need a rest, or are you going to try and rest here? And you see the fiend, he walks forward, because this is why I mentioned it. He says, as his grin grows wide,
Oh, wonderful, a bargain struck between you and that old man. I won't have to listen to his crotchety stories anymore. I am in your debt. Please, feel free to stay and rest your weary bones. Just watch out for the cats. I make no promise they won't eat your toes.
A short rest would be useful to me.
I don't need any kind of rest.
I don't either, but if
I'm okay.
But if
you guys want to rest,
yeah,
rest never hurts.
Well, we know we can always go back here to, like, it's like a midway point or wherever. So if we need to take a rest, we can just backtrack, and we know we have a safe place to stay. So Flux will say,
2/3 point. You ain't got far to go now.
Well, I've used some pretty big spells. If we rest, I'll get them back and my wild shape back.
okay, I'll rest then. That's fine. We'll rest.
Yeah.
We'll rest for that. I didn't realize that you could regain them.
Yeah, Circle of the Land has that natural recovery thing.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, you want to be a wizard.
Rest then.
And as you all start to sit, and you're like, okay, that might be good. Yeah, let's get you a little bit of a rest. We could take him up on this offer. You notice Rhea is looking out the cave suddenly, and she looks back towards the party.
Guys, I think we might have bigger problems.
As she points a finger down to the bottom of the cliff. And as you lean out, any who can see, because I'll say, vision down is easier than vision up, let's say, and there seems to be a small clearing for a brief instant as the tornado twists what Rhea had seen below. It's considerably worse. You notice a circle, darkness at the base of the mountain. Everyone give me a perception check. Rhea's already passed it. But I'd like to see in which order people notice.
Is our ship in trouble again?
Oh, your ship's quite the ways away from right now. And with Duga on it, oh no, your ship's in good hands. Tiny hands, but good hands.
And Clacka and Clonk are there too.
Yep. They're deassembling and reassembling the engine, right? They're like, how does this thing work? We're gonna find out. You'll get back and they'll be like, you guys figured it out? And they'll be like, no, Dungeon Master magic, we can't figure it out. So, as you can clearly see from the order, Jade's first to notice, followed up by Bellamy, and then, well, Alec. Then Nimbar, and probably Flux last, which would make sense, because you probably would have been maybe measuring up those holders for the other party members and the old man, helping him measure up, and he goes, okay, we can get this. The darkness that grows at the bottom, you can see. The obsidian dolls are charging the mountain, all around it in a line. Arms and legs jabbing into it before turning to solid obsidian. More charging from behind, climbing up, polluting, turning, and destroying the land in their wake. They climb and crawl and move their way up at an incredible speed. They'll be on top of you in no time. Oh, sorry, I cut you right off.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was just gonna say, just to add
really
on, they are going to be on top of you in no time. You don't have time for a rest.
How many of them? Like, how are they spread out?
Anybody ever read that Watership Down? The one about the bunnies that can't count too high? Rhea basically pulls that and goes, thousands. That might be too obscure of a reference, though, but there are a lot. They are overtaking the actual stonework of the mountain, climbing over it like ooze, except they're solidifying as they make their way up in order to create solid ground that they can climb over. They've solved the problem of not being able to climb the mountain easily by turning it to obsidian.
We should go.
I might have something.
Unless someone has crazy plans for next week, because you can know how big that is, how large of an area they're coming at you from. It's the same concept of how do you stop the tornado? How do you stop countless of these things coming up? But I will give you a heads up, because it's too on the nose, and this is a wonderful spot to stop for next week. As Bellamy said, it's time to go! You can expect, if you flee, it's going to be a chase scene. A chase being an actual form of encounter. I don't know if you've played with one of those yet, Courtney. But there is actually
I think
a system
we
for
had.
chases.
I feel like I have. I don't know. Maybe I saw it in Critical Role, but I feel like I understand the concept of like chase mechanics in the game.
You got a couple 100 feet between you and the bad guys. You're moving at 20 feet around on the chase mechanic continually. And I just throw things at you while it happens, while both sides try to catch up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm putting that out there as one option for next week. If you decide to just run, it obviously becomes a chase sequence, which was, of course, part of the plan. But I also know there's someone with 8th level spells, and a druid with 8th level crab, and we've also got the cleric, which is also the bardish knowledge, and just a badass fighter who might do something crazy. I don't know. But you
I
all
do have.
Oh, sorry.
So I do have earthquake.
See, that could end very nasty for them.
It could also end nasty for us.
But just keep in mind, this is a mountain that you are climbing. So, and they are surrounding it and working their way up. They are overtaking. It's some nasty, crazy stuff.
Yeah, thankfully we have a week to figure this out.
How high is the peak, the summit of this?
At this point, you've gone up about 300 feet, let's say. You have approximately 150, maybe 200 to go, from what you've gathered chatting with the old man. You're a good distance of the ways there. However, the storm intensifies the higher you go.
So it's not. So just so I got the visual right in my head, it's not like Are they making like a straight line up towards us, or is it like they're
overtaking the entire mountain?
So it's like the whole point is like darkness is creeping up the entire mountain. Okay.
The entire mountain. There is one thing to note. There's no way for you to get down without encountering them, because they're slowly encircling and coming up the mountain. As they climb, they drive against the side of it and re-solidify into pure obsidian, creating an easy
Dean,
walk point.
Dean, what was your death omen again?
It's back near the start of my notebook somewhere.
Don't get me wrong, I remember them, but I have more fun when players look these things up.
Yeah, I have I will have a chance to run, and I should take it when we face the Obsidian Nightmare. I remember mine.
Mine was something along the lines.
I remember how excited you were, John, when you fought the Obsidian Doll the first time and you won, and you were like, "Oh look, I beat mine," and then they came back and you're like, "Shit."
What are they? Death omens?
Yep.
We had visited. I think it was
somewhere at Maggie's.
Yeah.
Wait, no, wait. It was at the traveling merchant place, wasn't it?
No, it was Maggie.
It was Maggie. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
She had provided a look into everyone's future, because Mad Maggie lives off of the pain of memories. Like, she loves it. It's to her, it's caviar. So the future that she looked at for each player, as she stated, was the moment you're supposed to die. Is what she told them after she gave their fortunes. For Dean, she had warned him
Huh.
that
Flux did not take her up on that offer.
Nope.
Flux was like, no way.
So
I had
it's
Rhea march forward and be like, let me do it. And Jade's like, I'm gonna go first. And she went up to Jade and was telling him about being pinned down in a corner by bugbears and the spears, the javelins, they won't stop, they won't. And then Maggie got mad at him and it's like, have you already died? And he's like, yeah. She goes, well, I can't tell you your future, you're making it yourself. Now the future is not set in stone for you, so. There was a fun with that one, which made Rhea throw her hands up and say, well, I can't. Next. So Rhea didn't get one either. The only people to take him up were Dean's character, Alec, and I believe John's character, Nimbar. Were the only two.
yeah. So mine's is when I hear the bells of Black Rock, I will need to destroy the world beneath my feet to save anyone. Which is why I immediately picked the earthquake spell, because destroying the world.
I like it.
Well, that's not unsettling.
Fun times. That does mean if Bellamy ever wanted her future told, she could go back to Maggie as well. Maggie'd be more than happy. It's always a creepy time, but Maggie'd be more than happy.
Oh yeah, next time we go by there, I'm definitely getting one of them.
She'll just lean forward. A strawberry ice cream, my dear. Don't eat it.
And then we all learn that Bellamy is allergic to strawberries.
Does anyone have an EpiPen? What is an EpiPen?
Alrighty then. Well, I'm
It's
gonna
the greater restoration spell. That's what it is.
Actually, yes. Yeah, that would work. Greater Restoration would be a perfect fit for that one. Alrighty. As you are all very near the summit, you have decisions to make for next week's game. And I mention that because, again, so many spellcasters and so many very high-strength characters, it's going to be wonky. The only person who's looking on right now going, I wonder what I can do, is Rhea, who's like, I got a sword and a shield, I can fireball. Big fireball. Firewall? One of them will work. The rest of the party, meanwhile, it's like, I got earthquake, control, weather, gonna make a portal there, I got some ideas. Jade's like, wait to see what's in my up my sleeve.
I got Wonderwall. Just maybe.
Play Freebird. Oh. Sorry, I couldn't help it. So, we'll pick up on this next week as the Obsidian threat is now barreling in on you all. Gives you a week to really get some planning on. Keeping in mind that you are now approximately 150 feet from the summit, but the weather gets exponentially worse as you get closer to the top.
Oh, Jesus.
Alrighty, everyone, we'll see you all next week for another ripping adventure of Conqueror of Avernus.
It was a great time. Thank you, Alan.
Get
My
it?
pleasure.
Gripping.
Thanks, everyone.
Gripping, because we're climbing. Yeah, get it?
Gripping. One gripping episode.
So, you definitely know you left us on a cliffhanger this time.
Oh, yeah.
I
yeah.
see what you did there.
At this rate, I'll be on a roll. All the good puns are taken, though. All the good
Yeah,
know,
we
we gotta make sure we don't lose our grip in the next game.
I mean, come on, we're rocking it.
Oh my god,
Alrighty.
you guys.
Alright, y'all have a good one.
Just gotta keep on rolling, you guys.
Oh,
Just
God.
gotta keep.
Oh lord. Alright guys, I'm out.
Yeah. Later, everyone.
Bye.
I suppose we're
Bye.
between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, God. Bye.